Seedlings take root in the secluded valley. Then True carefully transplants them by the stream, trusting 15 days to transform fragile sprouts into vibrant greens. This initial harvest is vital for his survival. He swiftly cuts mature roots with a custom spade, then buries potato tubers in soft earth to ensure future yields. He stir-fries the fresh greens in the hot wok, then plates them neatly with sliced sausage. Sitting by the fading embers, he savors each bite of his humble meal with quiet and deep satisfaction. Dawn breaks a mist, clings to towering pines as then True sweeps the wooden deck, clearing leaves and debris. This rhythmic motion maintains order against the wild, serving as mental preparation for the labor ahead. Stepping from the cabin, then True calls out to the poultry. He scatters a handful of grains across the dirt, feeding the hungry flock. Vibrant roosters and hen swarms feed, responding to the familiar rhythm of his daily provision. This steady distribution ensures the vitality of his livestock. Kneeling on the terrace, then True gently brushes the dog's fur with a blue comb. He then spreads colorful kibble on a woven tray for the anxious pet. This tender care reinforces their bond, transforming a working animal into an indispensable family member. Water flows carrying a heavy green water, and he strides toward the stream to draw fresh water, immediately returning to nourish the thirsty vegetable beds. He rotates the spout to wash away dust from the leaves, revitalizing the crops with every precise movement. Finishing the final section, he gazes at the refreshed plants, knowing that consistent hydration is the absolute lifeline of his mountainous farm. He moves to a section of broadleaf crops, raising the spout so moisture penetrates deep beneath the dense canopy. The dark soil eagerly absorbs the water, signaling the completion of this crucial irrigation cycle. Setting the empty can aside, he shifts his focus to the next task. Earth turns. Gripping a small iron hoe, he forcefully breaks up the compacted soil around the plant roots, sending tiny clouds of dust into the air. His fingers sift through the freshly turned dirt, meticulously extracting hidden pests and decaying leaves to protect the vulnerable root systems bathed in the slanting sunlight. This relentless weeding ensures that every single crop receives the unobstructed nutrients it desperately needs. Greens gathered crouching in the vegetable bed. Venture carefully loosens the soil to harvest the lush mustard greens. His movement steady and deliberate. He parts the dense foliage to slice off the target leaves, making sure not to damage the delicate stems or the remaining root structure. After clearing the initial section, he gently covers the exposed roots with fresh earth, preserving the plant's potential for a secondary growth cycle that will sustain future yields. Terrace is fed navigating the stone paths with a green watering can. He distributes a fine mist over the emerald mustard greens. The droplets sparkle brightly under the warm sun as his steady pace crossing the uneven terrain guarantees that every tier of the terrace garden receives an equal share of hydration as the final drops fall from the leaf edges. The comprehensive watering task concludes, leaving the entire valley vibrant and thoroughly nourished by his careful labor. New ground broken, retrieving a heavy hoe. He attacks the hard until earth of an empty plot, shattering the stubborn clouds with sheer physical force. He repeatedly turns the soil and uses the back of the tool to pet the surface flat, carving out a straight soft ridge from the barren slope. This grueling preparation is not merely about moving dirt, but about creating a perfect trail for the next generation of seeds, demonstrating his immense endurance and unwavering dedication to the land. Seeds prepared carrying a full basin of freshly harvested potatoes. He skillfully has each tuber with a clean, decisive cut, deliberately exposing the smooth inner flesh to the mountain air. He then evenly scatters rich wood ash over the newly formed ridge, utilizing this time-honored agricultural method to prevent rot and provide essential potassium to the soil. This meticulous treatment of the seed potatoes transforms ordinary raw materials into resilient crops, honoring the ancestral wisdom of sustainable farming. Sowing begins, surveying the ash-dusted ridge with a satisfied nod. He smooths the soil and positions himself to begin the actual planting. Holding a blue basin, he places each seed potato precisely into the trench, ensuring the sprouting eyes face upward to maximize growth potential. Moving steadily backward along the ridge, he repeats the placement process, embedding the future harvest securely within the dark fertile earth. Earth covers with extreme focus. He pushes the soil from both sides of the trench toward the center, completely burying the seed potatoes in a soft bed. Standing up to survey the newly planted ridge, he evaluates the layout against the backdrop of the distant cat and flowing stream. This final covering seals the pact between farmer and land, blocking the moisture and warmth required for the impending germination. He returns to the stream, filling his green can while stepping carefully over wet stones. Back at the ridge, he sprinkles water on the loose soil, watching it sink in. This first drink settles the earth around the seed potatoes, removing air pockets and waking the dormant tubers. Shifting his attention to the mustard grains. Then True selects mature plants and pulls them whole from the earth. Their emerald leaves glisten with morning dew as he moves through the rows, gathering a substantial bundle that showcases the season's abundant yield. Bulbs set facing a small pile of purplish red shell bulbs, some already sprouting tender green tips. He begins to plant them in straight orderly lines. He then transitions to sowing white garlic cloves along the ridge, maintaining a steady rhythm before gently patting the soil to ensure a flat even surface. The striking contrast of the colorful bulbs against the dark earth highlights the continuous cycle of renewal driving this mouse. In a homestead where each carefully placed seed represents enduring hope for the future harvest season. Van True crouches on the wooden corridor, rubbing the hound's belly and moment of play. Hearing his call for food, he rises and heads inside, leaving the loyal dog resting on the porch. Firelit, kneeling before the traditional earthen stove. Then True arranges dry wood and charcoal with practiced ease, striking a flame that sends thick smoke curling up the chimney. He then vigorously washes the rice in a pot, changing the water 3 times to meticulously remove all impurities. Finally, he places the heavy vessel onto the roaring fire. The flickering flames illuminate his focused profile, marking a quiet transition from daytime agricultural labor to meticulous art of evening sustenance preparation. Greens clean, pinching off the tough roots of the mustard greens. He sorts the leaves and submerges them in the flowing stream water, rubbing them gently to wash away every trace of dirt, as steam aggressively escapes from the boiling rice pot. He lifts the lid and stirs the thickening porridge with a red plastic spoon. The rhythmic stirring ensures the rice cooks evenly, transforming simple grains into a comforting, fragrant base for the impending meal. A soft sky escapes his lips, revealing a moment of quiet satisfaction amidst the daily labor. The sausages sizzle, moving the porridge to the side to simmer in. Residual heat, he soaks the main fire with fine dry wood to build up the temperature. He then drops 4 whole sausages into the hot pan, where they instantly sizzle and release a cloud of white aromatic smoke. Constantly turning them with chopsticks, he ensures the fat renders perfectly without burning, elevating a simple ingredient into a rich delicacy that glistens under the light. Lifting the brown sausages onto a woven bamboo mat to drain excess oil, he moves with steady precision. Immediately, he takes fresh mustard greens and chops them into uniform pieces within a blue basin, tossing the vegetables into the pan, still coated with rich sausage fat. He adds a few pinches of salt with a casual flick. The intense heat causes the greens to wild rapidly as steam rises. This seamless transition from meat to vegetables maximizes the flavor profile, creating a perfectly balanced dish for the day's fresh harvest. Meal serves, slicing the fried sausages into thick even pieces that reveal the tender pink meat inside. He places them alongside the steaming stir-fried greens. Before taking his own seat, he first scatters dog food onto a map for the eagerly waiting hounds, and then sits down to devour a large bowl of the hot white porridge. This deliberate order of feeding the animals first, then himself perfectly encapsulates the selfless responsibility of a true mountain caretaker. Then True clicks off the light, plunging the room into darkness and green night vision. He removes his shoes and pulls up a blue blanket to rest after a long day of labor. The morning mist clears, the young man opens a heavy wooden door, turns off the interior lights, and carefully ties his leather boots on the porch before stepping into the crisp mountain air. This is not merely a simple daily routine, but rather a profound and silent communion with the untamed wilderness that surrounds him. Cold water splashes. The young man adjusts the hanging tools under the eaves, and crouches by a blue basin to vigorously wash his face with a damp pink towel. The refreshing splash washes away the last traces of sleep, fully preparing his mind and body for the arduous physical labor that awaits him today. He carefully rubs the fabric against his skin, ensuring every part of his face is clean before wringing it out, and shaking it dry with a sharp snap. Hunger strikes the young man, feeds his 2 loyal dogs while vibrant peppers hang heavy on lush branches. This quiet harmony reveals a deep bond, thriving amidst the mountain's abundant harvest. Nature provides a towering package, bears fruit as the young man carries a green watering can through the garden toward the stream. This journey highlights the self-sufficient beauty of his secluded mountain life. Water flows gently. The young man submerges the water into the clear stream, then struggles to carry the heavy load back to the garden, evenly distributing the water over the dense green leaves. This repetitive task demands immense physical endurance, yet ensures the survival and growth of his precious crops in this quiet, secluded valley. Thirst quenched. The young man steps carefully across the slippery stepping stones to refill the can once more, pouring cool water over the broad oak leaves until the very last drop is shaken out. The gentle rustling sound of water on leaf signals the completion of the morning irrigation, leaving the entire garden thoroughly refreshed and ready for the warm sun. A nearby dog watches with quiet curiosity as the daily work ends. Work resumes. He sets down the watering can, walks through pepper bushes, and hoists a massive bamboo basket onto his back. Speaking gently to his dog, he prepares for a new expedition into the deep forest. He leads his dog down the wooden steps, vanishing into the dense jungle. Sunlight filters through the canopy above, illuminating his determined figure as they merge with the wild. The harvest commences at dawn. His dirt-covered hands navigate carefully through the dense green foliage, selecting large mustard leaves and placing them neatly into the woven bamboo basket while bees whisper around nearby wildflowers. In the bright morning light, the rhythmic snapping of stems echo softly in the quiet valley, serving as a clear testament to his meticulous and experienced farming skills that were honed over many long seasons of hard labor in these fertile fields under the open sky. The young man grips the base and pulls with force, exposing roots caked in fresh dark soil. He lifts the giant mustard plant high, shaking off the excess dirt with a firm, deliberate motion. Nearby, a dog darts past the edge of the field, letting out a single cheerful bark. Carrying the mountainous harvest to the woven basket, he stuffs the massive vegetables twice. The container is so full that he must repeatedly adjust the angle, forcing every last leaf into the tight space to maximize its limited capacity. The burden is now secure. Standing tall, the young man pats the dirt from his hands with a look of quiet satisfaction. He takes a tough vine and wraps it horizontally across the overflowing basket, tying tight knots with rough but strong hands to ensure nothing falls during the track. After a final check of the binding, he prepares to lift the heavy harvest. His practical survival wisdom transforms a fragile load into a solid unit for the arduous journey home. The sorting process begins in earnest back at the rustic wooden house. The young man carefully arranges fresh mustard greens on a woven bamboo tray. He uses thin mountain vines to tie them into neat bundles while his dog yawns lazily nearby. This repetitive motion of grabbing, aligning, and tying reveals his deep familiarity with his daily agricultural routine, showcasing years of practice, skill, and quiet dedication to the craft. Space is maximized. The young man stacks the uniformly sized bundles and loads them vertically into the basket, pressing down hard to squeeze out any remaining air. This logical and forceful packing method ensures the maximum yield is transported safely without damaging the delicate green leaves. Each bundle fits snugly against the next, creating a stable structure that withstands the journey ahead. His movements are deliberate, born of long practice, turning simple labor into an art of efficiency. The basket feels steadily a testament to his morning's work and careful planning. The young man reorients the loaded basket, placing stems outward to reinforce the fragile edges against pressure. He secures a high pile with a long rope, ensuring nothing falls during the rough journey ahead. Before departing, he gently strokes Nick's head, softly instructing the dog to guard the home, blending rigorous labor with tender affection for his loyal companion in this quiet moment. The young man scoops a generous portion of dog food into a small dish, watching his two dogs immediately lower their heads to eat. He gently strokes their backs with a tender touch before rising to deliver his final cheerful instruction for them to guard home well, taking a deep, steady breath. He slips his arms through the thick straps and hoists the incredibly heavy basket onto his shoulders. The substantial weight forces him to lean forward slightly before he finds his balance. As he descends the steps and crosses the terrace, the dogs remain at the doorway, watching him depart in quiet, loyal silence. The young man arrives at the courtyard, lowering his heavy load before a middle-aged woman who inspects the contents with care. He emphasizes that these greens grew by the stream, their leaves still crisp with moisture from the cool water. She chooses two bundles and he meticulously arranges the foliage for her, ensuring every leaf is perfect and presentable. After a brief exchange of 10,000, he accepts the payment with quiet gratitude, then readies his basket for the next stop down the winding path. Voices echo through the air. The young man shouts his prices in the middle of the road, quickly selling for bundles to a woman in a polka dot dress who plans to make pickles at home. Turning a corner, he attracts a yellow-clothed mother and her three children who are equally captivated by the vibrant green produce and its freshness. They admire the quality as he helps them select large bundles of mustard greens from the basket, praising the crisp texture and bright color. The journey persists after pocketing the payment. The young man shoulders his heavy basket and trudges up a steep verdant hill. His solitary figure moves with quiet resilience through dense bamboo groves until he finally reaches an elderly couple. They emerge from their home, eagerly inspecting the fresh produce with visible delight. He presents the final bundles, and as the elders offer small bills, he bows his head to skillfully calculate and return the exact change. The cycle restarts after counting the last of crumpled bills. The young man lets out a long sigh and gazes out the window. He walks to the steps, lifts his brown dog Nick into his arms, and affectionately strokes its fur as the animal nestles close. Kneeling by a blue basin in the stone crevice, he splashes cold stream water on his face, droplets sliding down his cheeks to restore his spirit. Then gripping an iron hoe, he stands before the empty plot, studies the soil, and begins to break the harder for the next planting season. Seeds planted, the young man carries a heavy blue basin brimming with tender seedlings to the field's edge. He crouches down, his focus absolute and unwavering as if he were tending to fragile precious lives with deliberate and gentle care. He parts the dark soil, nestles each small green shoe into its new home, and firmly presses the earth around it. This rhythmic repetitive cycle of digging, placing, and pressing continues relentlessly across the land. Slowly but surely a vibrant green lifeline stretches across the long furrows, marking the quiet promise of future growth in the stillness of the field. Roots settle, the young man dusts off his clothes as the garden glows in the twilight, then crouches by the stream to gently plant slender asparagus seedlings into the moist earth. The rhythmic planting continues, transforming the barren patch into a promising field of future harvest under the fading light. Life sustained the entire vegetable garden forms a harmonious picture with a stream and a wooden house, while the young man meticulously presses the soil and waters the newly planted asparagus. The fine water droplets nourish the dry earth, ensuring the delicate roots can take hold in their new home. Day draws to a close. The young man finishes watering the last bucket, sets down the pot, and walks back toward the wooden cabin along the winding jungle path. His figure gradually disappears into the dense greenery. Later, he sits on the wooden bench to enjoy a simple yet hearty dinner of steaming white rice, fresh, blanched, greens, and savory mushrooms coated in rich sauce. With each careful bite, he savors the pure natural flavors. Letting the quiet meal dissolve the physical exhaustion accumulated throughout the entire day. Nick sits quietly behind him, watching the distant forest with calm devotion. Peace is restored. The young man drinks the last drop of vegetable soup while Nick wags his tail behind him, marking a perfect moment of harmony between man and nature as night falls. The warm orange light from the cabin stands out against the dark forest, concluding a deeply fulfilling day. He exhales slowly, signaling the end of his working meal from across the stream. The cabin glows on the slope. The man sits on the terrace, his figure shrinking in the light as nature reclaims dominance under the cover of night. The mountain stream continues to flow in the deepening darkness. With practiced precision, a chung pins a dark brown forest frog and places it in his mesh bag. The growing weight of the catch signals a successful night harvest in the wild. A chung moves through the rows, slicing ripe okra pods. He gathers a large handful, then adds fresh mustard greens to his basket, arranging the harvest with practiced care. Navigating through towering banana leaves, a hidden sanctuary of emerald greens finally comes into view. Sunlight filters through the canopy, illuminating the lush mustard plants ready for harvest. But agricultural expertise extends far beyond simple reaping. He delicately extracts pollen from a male blossom and gently transfers it to a female flower, ensuring the future growth of the pumpkins through meticulous manual pollination. The heavy machete swings down with precision, cleanly severing the thick stems at their base. A massive pile of vibrant vegetables quickly accumulates, symbolizing the sheer volume of the daily yield. Yet raw harvest is merely the first step in this rigorous process. Sitting by the babbling stream, a chung meticulously trims the clustered roots and strips away the withered outer leaves, carefully refining the rough yield into marketable produce for the journey ahead. Securing the harvest requires more than just gathering. It demands structural integrity for the arduous journey ahead. Using flexible natural vines, a chung binds the trimmed mustard greens into tight uniform bundles, his fingers working with rhythmic efficiency and practiced ease. The final dead knot ensures the cargo will not loosen on the steep descent. He then vertically stacks these dense bundles into the large bamboo basket, methodically maximizing every inch of available space to prevent shifting during transport. Parting the thick pumpkin leaves reveals an unexpected treasure hidden in the shade. This remarkably large overgrown cucumber provides immediate hydration and energy after hours of strenuous labor. With a natural snack consumed, the true physical challenge begins. A chung hoists the overwhelmingly heavy basket onto his shoulders, leaning forward to maintain balance as he navigates the slippery steep mountain path downward with steady steps. Arriving at the village, The heavy basket is immediately unloaded for the first transaction. Although the total is set at 30,000 dong, the lack of small change complicates the exchange with the elderly neighbor. Yet his generosity shines elsewhere. He freely hands over a large bunch of greens to a young father near the cornfield, without asking for payment. Down the road, a group of women quickly surrounds him, eagerly selecting bundles at 5,000 dong each. The roadside stall quickly transforms into a bustling marketplace, as more villagers rush to secure the fresh tender vegetables. Once the final customer departs, a Chung squats by the dusty road, meticulously counting the crumpled small bills with a look of deep, quiet satisfaction on his face. The once heavy basket now feels remarkably light, as he strides confidently back along the quiet, winding village path. As the vibrant twilight slowly fades into the deep blue of night, his solitary silhouette emerges with the long shadows, quietly marking the end of a highly profitable and successful day. Good. The white mesh bag is lifted, revealing the massive stone frogs thrashing within. A Chung rinses the heavy mud from the net in the water, before securing it firmly at his waist. His gaze fixes on a shadow in the dense weeds. He does not strike immediately, but waits, observing the creature's trajectory with patience. Then with swift precision, he captures it. Later by a secluded pool, he watches the squirming catch as ripples spread across the dark surface. Shouldering his bamboo basket, he walks away, vanishing into the thick night while the chorus of frogs continues unabated. The quiet wooden cabin offers a brief respite as he settles into a simple bed, drifting into a deep sleep after the exhausting night hunt. Morning mist soon envelops the distant mountains and dense forests, creating a picturesque scene. By the stream, a flock of red local chickens begins foraging among the rocks with a small dog tagging along. Stepping out of the cabin, a Chung carries a bamboo winnowing tray filled with grain. His rhythmic calling sounds echoing through the crisp morning air to gather the flock, scattering the grain across the dusty ground. He watches with quiet affection as the eager chickens swarm around to feed on the scattered bounty. Leaving the bustling poultry yard behind, a Chung strolls leisurely along the winding stone path toward the lush, green okra plantation. He carefully parts the broad, vibrant leaves, searching for the perfectly mature pods hanging heavily from the branches. With a small silver knife held firmly in his right hand, he makes clean, precise cuts at the base of each tender vegetable. The freshly picked okra is gently placed into the bamboo tray, which is now nearly brimming with a vibrant green harvest. Yet a sudden shower of striking yellow and red petals drifting down from the dense towering canopy above catches his eye. Moving to a moss-covered rock nearby, a Chung carefully gathers these thick, uniquely shaped fallen flowers from the damp ground, treating each rare botanical gift with immense care and deep, quiet respect for nature. After clearing away the debris, he bundles the abundant flowers into the makeshift pouch of his shirt to transport them safely. Returning to the tray, he unties his shirt and pours the colorful cascade of blossoms directly onto the pile of green okra. Balancing the heavy tray, he walks steadily back through the lush vegetable garden toward the distant cabin. Back at the wooden porch, he sets down the load and straps on his bamboo basket, accompanied by a loyal little brown Shiba Inu peeking out from the edge, ready for the next journey. Reaching the destination, a sprawling field of tender mustard green stretches out before him, ready for another massive harvest. A Chung selects a vigorous plant, pressing the leaves down firmly before slicing cleanly through the thick stem. He moves systematically from one ridge to the next, his highly experienced movements ensuring maximum efficiency in the field. Soon, all the cut vegetables are gathered into a massive pile, prepared for the final transport. The neatly stacked mustard greens are carefully placed into the large woven basket, pressed down firmly to maximize every inch of available capacity. After loading the final massive bundle, a Chung adjusts the heavy shoulder straps, bearing the immense weight with steady determined steps as he begins the journey back. Guided closely by his little dog, he navigates the winding mountain path, returning finally to the rustic cabin. Upon arriving at the wooden terrace, he unloads the heavy basket and immediately begins the meticulous quiet process of sorting the freshly harvested greens. Fresh banana leaves are carefully laid inside the basket, as a Chung artfully arranges the tender green okra alongside the vibrant red fallen flowers. With his harvest securely packed, he shoulders the heavy load and carries both the tray and basket down the winding mountain path. He eventually stops at a flat spot by the roadside to set up his makeshift stall. He unloads the fresh produce onto a large bamboo round tray, creating an eye-catching display of natural abundance that highlights the day's hard work. It is not long before a middle-aged woman in a brownish red shirt approaches, clearly drawn by the unique and colorful assortment of fresh goods on offer. A Chung enthusiastically explains that the okra is perfect for cooking sour soup, handing over a pink plastic bag to assist the woman. Meanwhile, an elderly man stops his motorcycle nearby and steps off to inquire about the price of the mustard greens. When the old man decides to purchase a massive 13 bundles, a Chung is slightly taken aback by the sheer volume, but quickly recovers, suggesting the addition of some frogs to the order. The total is calculated at 15,000 dong, and after payment, the transaction is swiftly completed with a handover of the goods, returning to the middle-aged woman. A Chung settles her bill for mustard greens, okra, and flowers at 20,000 dong. Seizing the moment, he asks if she wants live frogs. She agrees enthusiastically, purchasing 2 and raising the total to 30,000 dong. With practiced skill, a Chung extracts a vigorously jumping frog from the net. He places it into a sturdy blue plastic bag, explaining this large container prevents tearing from sharp claws. He then consolidates all her produce into the single robust sack. Handing over the weighty bundle, he offers a polite wish for good fortune. The woman accepts her harvest with a grateful smile, thanking him before departing. A man in a green shirt pulls up, quickly snapping up the remaining frogs and vegetables, though he misses out on the flowers which are already sold out. A Chung efficiently helps him tie the heavy bags across the motorcycle seat, before they part ways with a wave. Shortly after, a young man in a jacket stops by, prompting a Chung to share his culinary secrets, stewing the frogs with perilla and turmeric, then adding the okra directly into the pot for a rich, flavorful broth. The youth listens with keen interest, captivated by the description of the savory dish, while a Chung ties up the bags as the customer remarks on how fast the goods are selling, with the final customer riding off. A Chung secures the empty tray onto his basket, a satisfied smile crossing his face as he begins the trek home. The journey leads into the clear stream, where he thoroughly washes the 2 large frogs in an aluminum basin, ensuring the meat is perfectly clean. Back at the wooden cutting board, he wields the cleaver with precision, slitting the frog bodies down the middle, the sharp blade revealing the distinct firm texture of the meat. The sizzling wok is carefully tilted, transferring the steaming golden brown frog meat and vibrant green leaves onto a rattan tray lined with fresh banana leaves. Holding up the tray, a Chung displays the masterpiece, the rich aroma of turmeric and seared meat filling the air. He then takes a seat at the rustic wooden table on the terrace, accompanied by a bowl of white rice. Picking up a large piece with his chopsticks, he takes a bite, savoring the ultimate reward of his relentless labor. A year ago, a handful of tiny carp in a clear plastic bag were waiting for a new beginning. By the stream, he lifts the bag of fish, ready to release them into the vast lake. Tilting the bag, the small carp slide into the lake, splashing water as they quickly swim into the depths, leaving ripples on the surface. After a year, the once tiny carp have grown significantly, their large shadows swimming gracefully in the clear water, a testament to time. Harvesting the catch with a firm pull on the long bamboo rod, a large carp is dragged out, landing on the rocky shore and struggling. On the porch, a yellow dog scratches itself, then curls up for a cozy nap. Back at the cabin, the man sprinkles a fine powder over white rice in a bowl, taking a thick wooden pestle to crush the mixture. The rice and powder are crushed into a uniform brown paste. Stepping out of the cabin, carrying a large bamboo basket on his back and holding a long fishing rod, the man descends the wooden stairs. Walking along the trail, passing by a wooden chicken coop surrounded by dense banana leaves, he navigates the mossy path toward the fishing spot. Arriving at the open water, the man stands on a rock observing the murky surface of the pool, searching for the subtle signs of fish. He takes the leaf wrapped bait from the basket and carefully unwraps it. Hooking the bait, the man carefully threads the rolled dough onto the fish hook, adjusting its position to ensure it completely covers the sharp point. He sits on the rock rod in hand, eyes fixed on the water, waiting for a bite. Securing the catch, the man places the cut carp into the bamboo basket, where it jumps on the green leaves. As he skillfully removes the hook, back to the rod, sitting back on the rock with the basket by the waterfall. He suddenly lifts the rod, pulling another fish out of the water. He walks to the bamboo basket by the waterfall and drops the fish, enjoying the first one swimming in the flow. A fierce struggle, the man pulls the rod hard as the fish thrashes on the surface, dragging it toward the shore where it leaps in the shallow water. Claiming the prize rushing forward with speed, he presses down firmly on the jumping fish, swiftly removes the hook, and holds it up to proudly display the fresh catch. Landing the big one successfully pulling a large fish ashore, he happily lifts the bamboo rod with the fish hanging, before dropping it into the basket. Reinforcing the gear, swatting by the stream, the man takes two bamboo poles and a tough line, skillfully tying them together to strengthen the fishing rod. He casts the reinforced rod back into the stream. The line goes tight. The man quickly grabs the rod and pulls hard, bringing the struggling fish out of the water in a swift practiced motion. Filling the basket, the bamboo basket now holds multiple live fish. The man has the latest catch, letting the waterfall wash over them to keep them fresh. Another striking man yanks the rod fiercely, sending a fish leaping into the air before it lands on the rocky, the shore twitching in the damp air. Storing the bounty, picking up the fish, he walks to the waterfall and places it in the basket, which is now brimming with his abundant catch. He carries the fish to the waterfall and adds it to the basket, making the school even denser. Heading home, carrying a massive bamboo basket on his back and holding a long rod, the man carefully navigates the mossy rocks of the rushing stream. Arriving at camp, setting down the heavy basket by the stone stream, he unsees the straps as clear water flows from a bamboo pipe into a basin. Inspecting the catch, the basket is filled to the brim with live fish. The man gently touches their scale before washing his hands in the flowing stream. A warm welcome. A small puppy runs into the scene, and the man gently pets both the large yellow dog and the little one sharing a quiet moment. Showing affection, cupping the puppy's face in his hands, the man softly rubs its cheeks, eliciting a happy, relaxed expression from the joyful little dog. Cleaning the fish, swatting under the bamboo pipe, the man takes the fish from the basket, washing it under the running water, while the big dog watches quietly. With nimble movements, he cleans each fish and places them into the blue basin. Preparing the seasoning, swatting before stone mortar. He uses a wooden pestle to crush white salt and spices into powder. Seasoning the catch, he sprinkles the crushed mixture evenly over the fish in the blue basin. With careful hands, he rubs the seasoning into each fish, ensuring the spices penetrate deep into the flesh. He turns the fish over, stuffing seasoning deep into the belly to ensure rich, even flavor throughout. Finishing the batch, he continues to process the remaining fish, covering their scales and gills with a white mixture until the basin is filled with seasoned catches. Building the foundation, bending down. The man lifts a large flat stone and places it on the clear ground, laying the solid base for the outdoor stove. Shaking the base, he hauls more stones, aligning large rocks side by side to form the stove slot and outline. Reinforcing the base, carrying a long heavy stone, he lays it horizontally across the bottom rocks, further strengthening and expanding the stove's foundation. Raising the walls, selecting suitable stones from a nearby pile, the man begins to stack them upwards, carefully constructing the sidewalls of the stove. Balancing the structure, moving to the other side of the stove, he continues stacking stones, building a symmetrical wall to prepare for holding the cooking pot. Capping the walls, he lifts a large flat stone onto the sidewall, completing the section of the stove's frame. Shaping the U-form from a high angle, the man stands on the left side of the stove, bending to dust stack stones layer by layer, revealing the clear outline. He stands to inspect the stone walls' overall structure. Placing the crossbeam in both hands, the man lifts a long heavy stone slab and carefully spans it across the top of the stone walls. Finalizing the back wall, he carefully adjusts the stones at the top of the rear wall, ensuring they are level, and secures the stove to shape. The U-shaped stone stove stands solid and robust, its interior bearing ash marks ready to host the cooking fire. Preparing the fire, swatting beside the stove, the man neatly arranges branches and firewood inside, building a structured base to catch the initial spark. He adjusts the wood to allow airflow, then uses a fire starting tool to ignite the dry tinder at the base. Stringing the fish, swatting by the stream, the man takes a fish from the blue basin and threads a slender fin grass end through its mouth and gills, tying it securely so it will not fall when hung. Setting the supports return to the stove, he holds a sharpened wooden stick and forcefully drives it into the ground to serve as a support post. Completing the frame, he drives another wooden stick into the opposite side of the stove, creating two facing supports that will hold the crossbars of the grill. Assembling the grill, placing two long wooden poles horizontally across the support posts, he forms a sturdy grill structure directly above the stone stove. Hanging the first catch, taking the string fish, the man hangs it on a crossbar above the stove, adjusting its position to ensure it hangs perfectly balanced. Smoking the fish flames dance and smoke swirls as he tends the stone stove with skill. He carries a bundle of green leaves to the stove, laying them over burning wood to generate thick smoke. Enhancing the aroma, taking out cut pieces of green pamelo peel, he places them on the smoking leaves, further enriching the smoke with a deep citrusy fragrance. Washing the bitter melon, placing the harvested bitter gourds into the blue basin. He washes them carefully in the stream water, removing all dirt and impurities. Slicing the vegetables, carrying the washed bitter melons into the cabin. He squats by the earthen stove, places them on a wooden board, and slices them thinly. Checking the soup, lifting the pot lid, the man sees the bitter melon soup boiling. He stirs it with chopsticks, revealing clear broth and vibrant green slices. Serving the smoked fish, placing the perfectly smoked fish on a bamboo plate. He carefully flakes it open with chopsticks, revealing the tender white flesh inside. Tasting the meal, picking up a piece of the fish, he dips it into the soup and takes a bite. A look of deep satisfaction crossing his face. It's speed. Feeding the dogs. Continuing to portion the food, the man watches the big dog eat from the bamboo plate, then serves the little puppy its share. Harvesting the smoked fish standing by the stone stove, the man uses a knife to carefully take down the smoked fish from the bamboo pole, placing them in the basin. Cleaning the dry catch, picking up the smoked fish, he meticulously uses the knife to clean the body and belly, scraping away any excess impurities for preservation. Wrapping the fish, he covers the seasoned catch with a large fresh banana leaf, beginning to wrap it tightly for storage. Storing the provisions, the man carries the wrapped blue basin into the cabin, placing it on the floor beside the stove. Hanging the reserves standing inside the cabin, the man raises his hands to hang several freshly smoked fish sequentially on the wooden beam above his head. Foraging in the garden, bending into the dense melon vines, the man parts the broad green leaves with his hands, carefully searching for the right fruit hidden beneath. Enjoying the sweet reward, taking a large bite of the melon, the man closes his eyes to chew his expression, reflecting pure enjoyment as he savors the juice. Sharing the treat, holding out the piece of melon toward the yellow dog, the man watches as the dog approaches, takes a bite, and happily gnaws on the fruit. Yeah. As it digs deep into the earth, clearing roots of stone to lay the foundation, he secures the frame, then fits the hinged seat. Each test ensures smooth motion. Struck by a cold, the axe lies weak in a sleeping bag. He hacks medicinal plants in the woods, carrying fresh herbs. He returns to camp for treatment. Shirtless, he seals himself in a sleeping bag with a boiling pot. Steaming gulps and the sweat pours down, forcing toxins out to cure his cold. Vitality returns back to the pit. He swings a pickaxe with vigor, clearing large chunks of dried earth hardened during his absence. The halted construction must resume immediately. He measures the pit 1.35 meters deep, 1.85 wide with a 90 centimeter base. Every stone has its place. He positions rocks along measured lines, adjusting angles to align with the pit's edge. This is calculated geometric alignment, not random stacking. He positions a massive blue stone on the mortar, pressing down firmly smaller pebbles fill the side gaps to ensure structural stability. The final layer seals the deal. He smooths the last mortar onto the rim, creating a flawless base for the wood above. The foundation stands as a monumental testament to primitive engineering. He checks the walls vertically with care, and then sets the final keystone. The foundation is now complete, paving the way for the rise above. With rapid hammer strikes, the workbench frame is locked. He shakes the surface to confirm its rigidity, ready for woodworking. The plane glides fast, peeling wood into thin curls. Smooth grain emerges beneath the blade as shavings fly away. He says along the inclines, cutting the notch to exact depth precision here ensures a flawless tight interlocking joint. He aligns the grooved wood, tapping gently with a hammer until the joints bite tight and the frame takes shape. He lifts a slender beam, sliding it precisely into the carved slots for a seamless fit. This interlocking design ensures the frame withstands immense lateral stress. He lifts the preassembled frame upright, carefully aligning its vertical edge with a stone base to ensure stability. The first board spans the supports he measures the holes, then saws notches to fit the pillars, ensuring a flush fit without gaps. He selects uniform boards, laying them across the beams. The floor slowly closes into a solid continuous surface. He installs side supports, pressing hard against the pillars to lock the frame and preventing lateral sway. He taps each board edge into the groove. The wall rises like stacked blocks, enclosing the space. A seamless wooden wall emerges. He checks every joint, ensuring tight connections. The interior is now shielded from the wild, creating a secure sanctuary. He sprints through the downpour to shield the frame, wrestling a large orange tarp against the cascading rain. The rain subsides. He packs his soap tools and walks back to the warm, glowing cabin. The crisis passes, leaving a hard won tranquility. He stands in the doorway gazing at the rain with calm eyes. Turning, he shuts the door, sealing out the cold and damp. Rain slides off the plastic as he pulls the tarp tight over the roof frame. His soaked shirt clinging to his skin. Rhythm restores order, crouching on the floor. He hammers long nails into reinforcement strips with a steady beat, signaling a return to productive labor. He fixes a long strip vertically against the wall. Each hammer blow rings out crisp and clear in the silent woods, locking the frame in place. He planes the wood, sending curled shavings flying. A quick touch confirms the surface is smooth enough for seamless joining. Crouching low, he stacks boards horizontally from the base. Both hands adjust their level as the wall rises, forming a solid shell. Kneeling doors, he nails a narrow board into the floor center. Then he saws off the protruding edges for a flush finish. Lying flat, he saws along the floor's edge. Chips fly onto his pants and shoes as he ensures a tight fit against the wall. Crouching inside the frame, he slots the toilet's front panel into the base beam, adjusting it for a secure fit. He hammers steel nails locking the toilet's vertical baffle to the base frame. This ensures lasting stability. He marks the excretion hole square outline on the top panel, then removes it for cutting. This ensures a perfectly centered opening. He measures the doorway with a tape, carefully marking the frame to ensure a precise fit for the new door. He selects the first wallboard into the groove, then steps inside to level it. The open frame begins its transformation into an enclosed sanctuary. He stacks boards upward, patting edges to ensure a tight fit as the wall steadily rises higher and higher. He carries long roof boards to the toilet wall, leaning aside before nimbly climbing up the wooden frame. Crouching on the beams, he lays roof boards flat across the skeleton. This layer shields the interior from force rains. Securing the shield requires firm strikes high above. He maintains a half squat to fix roof boards across beams with steady blows. The rhythmic hammering signals the nearing completion of the exterior shell. He spreads the blue tarp flat, carefully smoothing every wrinkle to completely seal the wooden roof against heavy rain. He planes the door, sending long shavings rolling as the rough timber turns smooth. This meticulous work ensures a friction-free fly. He reinforces the three doorboards with two horizontal strips, driving steel nails to bind them into a single solid unit. This assembly prevents warping from humidity. He mounts the black hinges on the pillar, then lifts the crafted wooden door into position. Nestled by the stream, the wooden toilet blends into the green wild. As night falls, he flips the switch. Warm light floods the cabin in a new toilet, banishing the darkness. After hard labor, he stir fries, meat, and peppers. The spatula clinks as he plates the dish over rice, a well-earned reward for his exertion. He carries rice to the corridor, clapping and calling. A small brown dog trots over eagerly. This daily ritual strengthens the bond between the builder and his loyal companion. He shares rice with a small dog. A larger brown and white one joins, and both eat side by side from the same plate. This act affirms their pack bond in the isolated forest. He kneels to rub the dog's belly, soothing it with gentle strokes as it hums in pure contentment. Sleeping under a blue quilt with his dog, he is jolted awake by violent coughs. The dampness from the rain has finally taken its toll on his lungs, making his body tremble in the cold night air. Morning light brings fragile recovery. He opens his eyes, glancing at the sleeping dog before gently stroking its spine. The new day dawns, carrying quiet resilience for another cycle of survival. Morning fatigue lingers. He rubs his face weary from the night's coffee fit, yet the wilderness demands he rise and face the day. He walks to the newly built toilet, steps inside, and closes the door. This first use marks the success of weeks of hard labor. Life multiplies. He crouches before the cabin, holding grain and softly calling chicks. Tender yellow babies cautiously approach, adding vitality to his rugged survival. 3 chicks, peck grains in his hand, gently sprinkles more feed. His expression focused and affectionate. This daily nurturing sustains the flock and reinforces his role as caretaker of his microwave system. He kneels in the dim light, shouting dry wood with a machete. The fine shavings will serve as tinder for the fire. He puts shavings in the stove and strikes flint. Sparks ignite the dry grass, glowing red. This fire provides heat for cooking and brewing medicine. Standing on the corridor, he tightens his knife sheath. His expression turns serious as he prepares to enter the deep woods for resources. He weaves through dense ferns and tangled vines, skillfully scanning for his target plant. He spots a tall shrub and cleanly slices off a branch with broad green leaves using his machete. He harvests herbs on the slope, a bundle growing with each edge old cut. He binds the gathered herbs into a tight bundle, securing them to the track back. He carries the heavy bundle through the dappled forest shadows, heading home with a cure. He uses a wooden stick to press the floating herbs into the boiling broth, ensuring every leaf is thoroughly simmered for maximum extraction. The lidless steam billows out, revealing a dark, rich broth from the extracted herbs. Shirtless, he wraps a blue sleeping bag around himself in a steaming pot, creating a makeshift steam chamber to sweat out toxins. Trapped in the sweltering dark, he endures the steam sweat pores as he pushes his body to the limit for recovery. He drains the hot soup in one go, sighing with satisfaction. Rubbing his reddened shoulders, he wipes away the sweat, marking the definitive end of his illness. Dan True ventures deep into the dense undergrowth. He's having machete swaying in his waist. A bird call fails to lure a hidden civet, yet the forest offers a reward to the patient observer. Crouching beside a massive boulder, he discovers a perfectly ripened striped wild melon. With one precise practiced strike, he severs the thick vine, securing the first harvest of the day. Steep terrain ahead, clearing the obstructing vines on a sharp incline. He reveals a dense cluster of deep green striped gourds hidden in the shadows. The heavy machete flashes repeatedly, severing the stems of 2 melons in one fluid. Relentless motion that truly showcases his raw efficiency. Reaching upward from a much higher vantage point, he slices through a thick bean uncle to claim a flawless specimen for his basket. Balancing the heavy yield securely in both arms, he carefully navigates the tangled roots to deposit the fresh fruits onto a flat rock. He gathers the spoils, arranging 7 or 8 striking striped melons to maximize the bamboo basket's capacity. Not a single inch of space is wasted in this meticulous process. With a firm pad on the loaded container, he verifies the structural integrity of the shoulder straps before embarking on the long return trek. Wading through waist-high grass, the experienced forager keeps a watchful eye on his surroundings, ever vigilant for any remaining hidden treasures that might still be within reach. Creekside foraging begins in earnest. A long wild melon is swiftly detached from its vine near the water's edge, followed by a series of precise harvesting cuts on nearby plants. The freshly gathered purple eggplants are neatly stacked atop the earlier melon hull, prompting an immediate return to the dense tangled weeds. However, a colossal pattern board demands a strenuous two-handed effort. Its sheer size brings a rare spark of surprise to the veteran gatherer as he works. The giant falls. A crisp snap echoes as the thick stem of the massive gourd is finally severed, requiring a steady, laborious carry back to camp. Brushing aside the chaotic shrubbery, a pale white melon is uncovered and swiftly harvested to crown a colorful heavy pile of vegetables. Seeking protective cover for his precious bounty, he approaches a towering papaya tree, swinging the blade in wide arcs to reap broad leaves that will shield the harvest from the elements. Meticulous sorting commences. White melons and purple eggplants are carefully laid out to assess their freshness before the meticulous repacking process officially begins. Hard, pressure-resistant small melons form a solid foundation at the bottom, ensuring vital structural stability for heavy load during transit. Two massive purple banana flowers are placed next, followed by a neat layer of long eggplants to perfectly fill the remaining gaps. Finally, a thick bundle of emerald papaya leaves seals the entire harvest, creating an impenetrable natural lid for the long journey ahead. The nylon rope is pulled taut and knotted with practiced expertise, securing the precious cargo against the rigors of the rocky forest transit. Shouldering the towering green basket, then True departs the quiet cabin and vanishes into the dense trail, eventually emerging onto the bustling, damp streets of the town. A curious housewife in a floral shirt immediately intercepts him, her eyes locked onto the exotic purple banana flower protruding from a heavy load. She questions the unusual produce, prompting a brief pause as he prepares to explain its culinary value. He explains the culinary synergy of wild banana flower and papaya shoots, transforming a simple vegetable into a true necessity. A hell-of a woman approaches, prompting quick pricing and a deft response to her son's skepticism. Offering a strategic bundle deal, he adapts his tactics to secure the head's empire. A passer remarks his online fame, a sharp jab met with a polite smile as he continues selling papaya leaves. The hell-of a woman picks a pale melon as Dan True displays a giant purple banana flower. A blue floral housewife crouches to inspect, prompting him to set up the scale. He announces the weight while an elderly woman in a colorful scarf checks her basket. Next, he whispers for a snake skin shirt customer as the floral lady watches. Then True quotes the total for the snake skin customer, swiftly swapping items on the scale to keep the deal moving. He aggressively pitches the giant purple banana flower, urging her to stir fry with papaya shoots for superior flavor. Citing the low price and unique wild taste, he convinces the head's empire of its culinary merit. She finally relents, handing over cash while the blue floral housewife quietly browses the remaining stock in the background. Addressing concerns, a housewife in black embroidered attire scrutinizes a small melon, her sudden hesitation triggered by a tiny hole in the green rind. He clarifies that the blemish is not a sign of insect infestation, but merely a superficial scratch that leaves the sweet flesh perfectly intact. The bustling market background frames the arrival of a blue-clad customer wearing a mask, halting at the stall for a fresh vegetable order. A new pink bag is produced and the freshly packed vegetables are handed over for a final thorough quality check amidst the crowd. A male customer arrives. A man in a plaid shirt examines the freshness of the greens, prompting a clear, concise explanation of the current unit price. The scale deal settles at 1.4 kilograms for a bag of eggplants, ensuring absolute transparency and fairness in the weighing process. Understanding the buyer's long journey home, he thoughtfully double bags the mixed order of eggplants and greens to prevent any accidental spillage. The satisfied customer departs with a word of thanks, leaving the woman in a pink helmet observing the seamless, efficient service. Confirming the grand total, Dan True accepts the large bills while the pink helmeted woman gives a thumbs up of genuine approval. The transaction concludes with a securely tied bag as the satisfied buyer walks away, marking the complete depletion of the inventory. Tucking the spring scale into his bamboo basket, he bids farewell to the neighboring vendor and promises to return next Sunday. Shouldering the load, he crosses the busy street and steps into a well-stocked hardware and general store. Seeking a brief respite, Dan True selects a yellow beverage from the fridge. After paying, he cracks it open with practiced ease, tilting his head back for a long, deeply refreshing gulp that visibly suits him. Shifting focus to future harvest, he accepts a bag of pumpkin seeds from the shop owner. He carefully studies the packaging instructions, discussing the proper planting season. Finally, handing over the cash and receiving change, he tucks the red plastic bag securely into his bamboo basket, ready for the next cycle. Preparing provisions for the week ahead, Dan True points decisively at a specific cut of pork belly, negotiating the final price before handing over the cash for his premium protein. With the meat securely acquired, he transitions to a nearby clothing stall. Here, an attendant shop assistant carefully adjusts the collar of a gray shirt on his frame. He tests the fit with a slight, almost shy demeanor, ultimately approving the garment. Satisfied with the look, he promptly retrieves his wallet to settle the asking price, completing his essential errands. The journey home begins. Red bags containing meat and clothes are stuffed into the massive bamboo basket, joining seats and other essential supplies. He navigates through dense foliage and slippery stones, finally approaching the cabin to a frantic joyous welcome from his loyal dogs. Crouching down, he strokes their heads, pressing noses in an intimate greeting. Promising a meat feast, he watches them circle excitedly, seemingly understanding the delicious reward awaiting them after the long trek. Stepping into the dim cabin, he shuts the door halfway before unloading his heavy basket onto the wooden floor. An aluminum pot and fresh pork are carefully removed, showcasing the day's successful market bounty. Crouching on creek stones, he rinses the basin under flowing water to prepare for the cleaning task. With intense focus, he scrubs the pork skin and crevices, washing away every trace of blood in the rhythmic current. The feast is served. Dan True brings a basin of washed green vegetables to the boiling pot, where the leaves quickly submerge and turn a vibrant emerald hue. Meanwhile, he slices the boiled pork into uniform, appetizing pieces, arranging them neatly on bamboo tray for the upcoming hearty meal. Sitting down, he takes a large bite of white rice, dipping a slice of rich pork into the sauce before chewing heartily. He then fishes a boiled green vegetable from the pot, combining it with the savory meat for a perfectly balanced, self-sustained mountain meal that reflects his simple yet satisfying lifestyle. Sharing the rewards, a generous scoop of meat and rice is placed on a wooden tray for the golden dog, who immediately buries his face. Scraping the very last grains from the pot, he divides the remainder evenly into two separate plates to ensure absolute fairness. Crouching between the two eating dogs, he gently strokes their fur, softly instructing them to eat peacefully without fighting over the food. The harmonious sound of their enthusiastic chewing fills the air, concluding the day's labor with pure, unadulterated contentment and warmth. Alcohol's heavy timber through the dense jungle. He splits the wood with sharp rhythmic strikes and feeds the stone fire, building essential warmth against the encroaching night ahead. Back to the cabin, Beckham meticulously prepares provisions. He butchers fresh game into manageable portions, binding each piece for the smoking process. After tending to the embers, he rewards his loyal hounds with scraps, savoring a piece of the smoked meat himself. He watches his day fades into a tranquil evening. Morning brings a sudden disruption to the peaceful routine. At Counter's lethargic chick, its diminished appetite signaling a potential health crisis. He gently examines the fragile creature, diagnosing the ailment before preparing a precise dosage of medicinal powder. Dissolving the remedy into water, he coaxes the flock to drink, ensuring the vulnerable member receives the life-saving treatment it desperately needs. The remedy works. Seeing the chick's drink brings visible relief to Akka, his shoulders his heavy basket, leaving the hut for the deep forest. Navigating dense vines and bamboo. Boo, he moves with the ease of a seasoned woodsman, shifting from caretaker to forager in the wild. Deep within the thicket, a towering bark stripped dead tree stands as the ultimate prize for his expedition. Akka wields his machete with relentless force, sending splinters flying as he carves a deep cavity into the stubborn trunk, pausing only to assess the hollowed interior. He resumes his grueling assault, extracting the dry wood essential for his survival in this harsh and unforgiving wilderness. Transitioning to the water's edge, a chow submerges itself in a crystal clear stream, meticulously signed to a submerged colossal. Lava blocks his path with a cut finally complete. He engages his core muscle straining violently against the stubborn suction of the mud to drag the massive timber from the water's tight grip, hoisting the immense weight onto his shoulder. He carefully adjusts his stance, bearing the heavy burden with unwavering determination and focus. Back at the homestead while the chicks forage peacefully, Akka engages in the grueling task of processing his timber haul. The manual saw bites into the dry grain, producing a steady cascade of fine sawdust with every rhythmic pull. As the cut nears completion, he abandons the tool, using the raw momentum of the wood against the hard earth to snap the final fibers apart. The labor continues unabated. His focus remains unbroken as the saw slices through another dense section of the timber. Wiping the sweat from his brow, he stretches his aching back, finding solace in the tangible progress of his work. Gathering the freshly severed logs, he transports them to the outdoor stone fire pit, where a nascent flame awaits his offering. The heat radiates steadily, promising warmth against the coming chill. The fire roars to life, its bright flames licking at the thick, heavy logs inside the quiet cabin. AKA moves a massive blue basin of fresh pork to the wooden steps, beginning the long preservation work. His blade cuts with lethal precision, separating thick layers of fat and skin into uniform strips. He handles complex parts too, carefully finding gaps to separate bone from meat. Finally, he pierces the tough rind with a thin golden bamboo strip, creating a secure anchor for the impending smoke. The binding process demands absolute precision. Akka weaves the bamboo strips with practiced agility, pulling the nuts out to ensure the heavy cuts will not slip during the curing phase. His pace accelerates as he tackles the day's heaviest challenge, wrapping the thickest strips around a massive pork knuckle with solemn dedication. The stark contrast between the pale meat and dark wood highlights his efficiency laden with a prepared bounty and a woven basket. He descends the mossy stone path, moving steadily toward the smoking racks to begin the long transformation of flavor. The bamboo pools soon bear a vibrant crimson harvest. Sunlight filters through the canopy, illuminating the hanging meat as the chow meticulously tests each knot, guaranteeing structural integrity against the weight and heat. Satisfied with the arrangement, he returns to his workstation, his blade once again rising and falling to the zest remaining. Cuts into perfect strips for the upcoming smoking process in the wooden racks. The focus shifts to the art of seasoning. Akka reduces the remaining pork to uniform cubes, the rhythmic chopping echoing the heartbeat of the wilderness. He introduces coarse salt and grain powder into the mix, his hands plunging into the basin to knead the ingredients with relentless pressure. This vigorous massage ensures every fiber absorbs the curing agents, not transforming raw meat into a deeply flavored delicacy. The most intricate phase begins. Akka slips the delicate casing over a bamboo funnel, feeding the seasoned meat downward with a steady rhythmic thrust of his thumb. The once shrill intestine gradually expands, coiling into the basin in a mesmerizing serpentine rhythm that seems almost alive with a gentle pull of the funnel. The stuffed casing slides smoothly into place, forming a perfect continuous spiral of culinary potential within the vessel. The stuffing reaches its conclusion. AKA withdraws the funnel, revealing a basin filled with plump, tightly packed sausages. Extracting a slender bamboo strip, he identifies the natural nodes, his fingers dancing in a rapid, complex, not timed sequence. To segment the continuous coil, he secures the funnel end with meticulous care, preventing any leakage during the smoking process, and surveys the magnificent creation with quiet pride. The curing process requires final adjustments seated on the cabin corridor. Akka performs the initial binding of the long coils, his fingers executing flawless traditional weaving technique. The bamboo strip rests tightly around the casing, compressing the meat into a dense uniform cylinder. He completes the final segment, binding the entire length into a cohesive bundle perfectly structured for optimal air circulation. Akka hoists the bundled sausages on the horizontal bamboo pole, positioning them among the rows of hanging cured meats to generate the necessary thick smoke. He uses a long stick to stir the embers, then presses a massive damp log directly onto the flames. This crucial adjustment chokes the fire, replacing open flames with dense smoke essential for preserving the meat. With preservation secured, the focus returns to immediate sustenance. Becca sits on the cabin floor meticulously packing minced meat into hollow bamboo chutes, ensuring each cavity is tightly filled. A curious hound watches the procedure, waiting for any dropped morsels, placing the stuffed chutes into the pot. He feeds the roaring stove, the rising steam soon filling the room with an intoxicating savory aroma. The following day marks the harvest. A chow carefully inspects the rows of hanging smoked meats where sunlight filters through. To highlight their rich cured textures, he selects a prime cut of pork belly and places it on a wooden board, stripping away the old bindings before slicing through the striking red and white layers. In search of a natural platter, he strides toward a nearby plant, his blade cleanly severing a massive pristine banana. Leaf serves as a rustic plate. The feast is laid out. Akka arranges the sliced meat across the broad banana leaf. His rhythmic whistling calls, summoning his loyal hounds from the brush. The white-spotted dog approaches first, eagerly sniffing the savory offering, and is soon joined by its yellow companion. He gently strokes the white dog's head, his touch conveying a deep, unspoken bond as the animals devour their rich reward with joyful enthusiasm. The feeding ritual concludes as Akka sounds his final whistle. He watches with a gentle gaze while the dogs diligently lick the remaining meat from the leaves. Shifting his focus to the earthen stove, he lifts the heavy lid, unleashing a dense cloud of white steam that momentarily obscures his face. With precise movements, he uses bamboo chopsticks to retrieve the tender meat stuff. Bamboo shoots from the boiling broth, ranging them neatly within a blue and white porcelain bowl. The final inspection demands absolute certainty. Akka approaches the stone fire pit, his eyes scanning the golden red hue of the hanging pork belly and ribs. He reaches out, inhaling deeply to assess the penetration of the smoky aroma before drawing his knife to slice it thin, piece from the edge, placing the sample directly into his mouth. He chews slowly, his expression confirming that the curing process has reached absolute perfection. The harvest is ready for storage. Satisfied with the quality, Akka uses his knife and strides purposefully toward the cabin to prepare the interior. He hoists a massive bundle of smoked meat, the cured fat gleaming in the sunlight, and carries it inside with steady, powerful steps. Inside, he hangs the heavy cuts onto the newly constructed bamboo rack. The dull thud of meat signaling a successful transfer. He carefully extracts tender mustard seedlings from the dense soil by the stream, methodically placing them into a heavy bamboo basket. These delicate sprouts are not mere plants, but the vital foundation of self-sustaining survival strategy deep within the mountains. He transplants seedlings into black earth, then red soil. Tomatoes grow in a week. He navigates the rocky terrain, rolling a massive boulder down the slope before carrying it to reinforce the foundation against the harsh and wild natural elements. The river snails are collected. He wades into the shallow stream to harvest black river snails, and then returns to the cabin to chop gorilla and chili before stir-frying them over a roaring fire. While sitting by the hearth with his loyal dog watching quietly, he enjoys a hearty meal, savoring the direct rewards of his relentless foraging in the wild. Carrying a basin of feed, the young man crosses the wooden bridge to call his chickens. His two native dogs follow excitedly. He pours the food into the long trough and gently pets the dogs, maintaining a peaceful daily routine on the farm. The long journey begins after affectionately rubbing the belly of his playful dog on the cabin terrace. He securely locks the door and hoists a tall bamboo basket onto his back. But he then embarks on a steep climb through the dense jungle, demonstrating that his quest for resources demands both physical endurance and unwavering determination. The mature crops are finally ready for harvest. Returning to the quiet streamside garden, he gently touches the lush mustard leaves before using a specialized bamboo knife to swiftly cut the vegetables at their stems. He then carefully stacks the freshly harvested greens on the ground, realizing that this abundant yield is not merely a simple harvest, but the ultimate payoff for his earlier meticulous planting efforts. The green seedlings are thinned. Crouching in the lush green vegetable patch, he skillfully parts the leaves to locate the seedlings that need thinning, digging into the soft, moist earth. But he pulls out the entire plant with its soil intact, ensuring that the remaining crops will have sufficient space and nutrients to thrive in a competitive environment. The bamboo basket is packed. He carefully lines the bottom of the woven container with a folded broad banana leaf to retain moisture and prevent soil from scattering. Then neatly packs the harvested seedlings and presses them tightly. Yet hoisting the heavy load onto his shoulder, he walks steadily through the towering banana forest, carrying the precious cargo back to his homestead. The rough land awaits transformation emerging from the dense forest. He retrieves a long-handled hoe from a rock crevice. He begins to plan the layout of the new ridges with meticulous care. With continuous powerful strikes, he shatters the hard soil clods and shapes the field borders, transforming the rough terrain into a neat, productive agricultural plot ready for planting. The work is demanding, yet his movements remain steady and precise, reflecting years of dedicated experience. The careful transplanting continues, standing up to survey his hard work. He crouches again to dig up a few tender mustard seedlings with their roots, and then carefully transplants the remaining ones. Yet he gently tamps down the surrounding soil with the back of his hand, ensuring every single seedling is securely anchored in its new earthen home. More seeds are sown today. He squats in a damp shaded area near a giant boulder to approach slender seedlings, then clears large rocks and stony wastelands to prepare for planting. With one hand holding the seedling and the other covering the roots with soil, he executes a seamless and professional transplantation in this challenging environment, demonstrating his skill. He abandons his tools, choosing instead to embrace a 100-pound boulder with bare arms. Muscle strains, he drives power through his legs, slowly rising to carry the immense weight aside. The scene shifts to the creek where he begins stacking stones upon the bank, carefully adjusting each angle for stability. He wades into the shallow water, bearing a moss-covered rock to fortify the outer wall against the relentless erosion of the current, extending the structure toward an ancient tree. He utilizes its roots and natural outcrops as vital anchors, picking up a sharp stone as a makeshift chisel. He chips away the obstructive protrusions, ensuring every piece fits with deliberate precision. The stone wall undergoes rigorous testing after a final review of the preliminary structure. He struggles to lift another massive rock and wedges it into a critical load-bearing position. He then repeatedly pushes and pulls the stone to the side to test its stability, ensuring the entire structure can withstand the relentless force of the flowing water. The daily forging ritual commences. Wiping water from his face, he strides to the shore and enters the nearby cabin. He retrieves a large blue plastic basin, stepping out barefoot to seek sustenance by the stream. Wading into the shallow water, he scans the submerged rock surfaces with each discovery of a river snail. He swiftly plucks it from the stone and drops it into the basin. The collection grows shells clattering against the plastic with a crisp sound as he moves with agility across the shallow waters. The tightly adhered snails are carefully extracted from their hiding spots. He crouches by the stream, feeling through shallow crevices and flipping stones to grasp them from damp rocks. With the extensive collection finally complete, he lifts the heavy blue basin filled with his catch and walks away from the water, heading back toward his secluded cabin deep within the forest. The dirty snails are washed, walking briskly along the path with his two excited dogs following. He enters the cabin area where the snails are subjected to a rigorous washing process. He plunges his hands into the basin to vigorously stir and rub the snails under flowing water, ensuring every crevice is clean and free of mud. After a final check confirms they are spotless, he dumps the dirty water before carrying the heavy, clean catch back into the warm indoors. The hard shells are opened. He uses a ladle to pour hot water into the basin to soak the snails, and then patiently uses his fingers to pry out the thin upper peel of each one. But the processed snails, now revealing their pristine white meat without the outer shells, are neatly arranged on a plate, ready for the final culinary transformation that awaits them in the kitchen. In the quiet cabin surrounded by dark woods, he places chopped gorilla leaves into a bamboo basket. He adds red and green chilies to the board, then scrapes the minced peppers into the basket with the herbs. Lifting the basket, he carries it carefully toward the stove for the next stage of cooking. The key ingredients are combined. He tosses the gorilla and minced chilies into the boiling pot of snails, causing an immediate surge of steam, then stirs rapidly with wooden chopsticks to ensure the mixing. But after adding a bowl of clear water to the mixture, he securely seals the pot with a metal lid to let the flavors meld together perfectly over time. The rich flavor is tested. He affectionately strokes the chins of his two wagging dogs, then uses fire tongs to lift the pullet and picks out a pearl, a leaf to check the color. Yet crouching by the stove, he carefully tastes the broth, realizing that this perfect flavor is not just the result of cooking, but a testament to his deep understanding of nature's gifts and the quiet patience required to truly honor them. The hot dish is served. He threads a wooden stick through the hunters, lifting the heavy iron vessel from the fire to carry the quirt, the long wooden table. With chopsticks, he carefully pours the last stone snails and vegetables onto a bamboo basket, piling them into a small mountain. Then holding a snail in his left hand, he uses a slender bamboo skewer in his right to gently rotate and extract the complete meat. Observing it with focused attention, after finishing one snail, he shoves a large mouthful of rice, cheeks bulging with evident satisfaction. He picks another plump snail to accompany his meal, savoring every bite in the warm hearth glow immersed in the simple joy of his harvest. He scrapes the pot clean, ensuring no grain is wasted in his isolated life as he rises to leave. His dogs remain focused on licking their bowls, completing a quiet cycle of sharing in the deep mountain night. Dawn breaks in the forest. The young hermit watches by the stream, preparing for rigorous labor in this unforgiving wilderness. It is a vital transition from sleep to the harsh reality of survival. Meanwhile, his loyal companion, Dicky awaits breakfast, turning a simple feeding into a heartwarming ritual of trust. Lush green fries. The vegetable patch, meticulously tended, reflects careful planning. It serves as a calculated food reserve for the changing seasons. Each pepper and shoot silently narrates harmony between human diligence and nature. Hydration is paramount. The hermit transports heavy loads of stream water, ensuring every seedling receives the precise nourishment it requires to survive. This is not a mindless chore, but a strategic irrigation process that dictates the ultimate yield of his isolated farm. As he moves steadily between the neat rows, the steady flow of water over thirsty leaves guarantees the continuous cycle of growth in this remote sanctuary. While two small dogs lie quietly in the distant shade, cleanliness prevails. With a bamboo broom, the hermit systematically clears accumulated debris from the wooden deck to maintain a hygienic living space. It is not simply about aesthetics, but a necessary maintenance protocol to prevent structural decay in the human forest environment. The rhythmic sweeping sound echoes through the trees, marking the transition from agricultural care to domestic upkeep. His playful dog bounds around, occasionally disrupting the steady rhythm, yet he persists with unwavering focus. This diligent effort ensures the sanctuary remains orderly and safe against the encroaching wild. Detail matters in the wild. He manually extracts scattered wooden fragments and stones from the soil, eliminating hidden hazards around the living quarters to ensure a safe environment. This is not merely a routine cleanup, but a crucial preparation for the heavy engineering work awaiting him further downstream. With focused determination, the hermit carries his iron shovel striding toward the water. He shifts his focus from domestic tidiness to large-scale environmental modification, ready to reshape the landscape with his own hands. Poultry calls echo softly through the quiet morning air. The hermit scatters corn kernels with practiced ease, efficiently managing his free-ranging flock to ensure a steady protein supply for the coming weeks. Yet the morning chores are far from over, as he now gears up for a grueling and quiet construction project downstream. Stepping into heavy rubber waders, he summons his loyal dog Dick, quietly assembling a small team for the impending battle against the rushing stream. The river waits, wading into the knee-deep current. The hermit hoists a massive boulder to lay the foundational framework of his new dam. It is not a casual placement of rocks, but a calculated structural intervention designed to redirect the natural water flow with precision. The heavy splash marks the beginning of a strenuous physical endeavor, aimed at reshaping the local hydrology. He continues to search for secondary stones to fill the gaps, ensuring every crevice is sealed against the persistent force of the stream. Precision is key. He carefully levels the uneven surfaces, creating a stable base that can withstand the relentless pressure of the current. However, the true test of strength arrives when he submerges himself to pry loose a colossal triangular rock from the riverbed. This backbreaking maneuver ensures the core of the dam remains impenetrable, turning raw physical power into structural integrity. Each stone is placed with deliberate care, forming a small cascade pool that hints at the emerging design. The hermit works in silence, his muscles straining against the weight of nature. Yet his resolve never wavers as he builds a sanctuary. Architecture emerges from the water. He bridges a long rectangular stone across the gap, creating a vital connecting beam for the expanding barrier. Yet the structure demands significantly more mass to hold. With visible strain, he hoists a massive square rock to serve as a crucial load-bearing pier at the corner. By inserting heavy slabs vertically into the flow, the hermit deflects the current, systematically mastering the chaotic forces of nature through sheer, unyielding will. Sealing the gaps, he forcefully wedges flat stones into the remaining crevices, eliminating any potential weak points in the masonry. But physical rocks alone cannot guarantee a watertight seal against the persistent seepage. Therefore, he packs dense mud and sand against the downstream face, creating an impermeable barrier that transforms a loose pile of stones into a fully functional hydraulic dam. The final touches. After a brief respite to wipe away the sweat of exhaustion, he places the ultimate capstones to lock the entire structure in place. This is not just the completion of a physical wall, but the realization of a comprehensive water management system. Standing back to inspect the newly formed reservoir and assess the steady lines of his work, the hermit's eyes reflect the quiet satisfaction of a master builder who has finally tamed the flow. Waterproofing begins. The hermit unfolds a massive transparent plastic membrane, introducing a modern synthetic solution to an ancient building technique. It is not a mere cover, but a critical anti-seepage liner designed to eliminate any microscopic water loss. By carefully smoothing out the wrinkles and anchoring the edges with heavy river stones, he ensures absolute hydraulic isolation for his newly created pool. Perfection is achieved. He meticulously folds the excess membrane, securing the perimeter with a final layer of smooth pebbles to prevent wind displacement. Yet the true measure of success lies in the water level. He probes the depth with a wooden stick to confirm the dam's holding capacity. The formation of a miniature waterfall below the barrier stands as undeniable proof of a flawlessly executed hydrological modification, marking the completion of his solitary labor. Rest is earned. The hermit embraces his loyal dog Dick, sharing a quiet moment of pure affection on the wooden porch. This is not merely a casual break, but a vital psychological recharge after hours of grueling physical labor in the freezing stream. As he sips his warm tea and playfully interacts with the dog, the harshness of wilderness survival temporarily gives way to profound domestic tranquility. The gentle stroking of fur and the soft sounds of contentment create a sanctuary of peace, offering a stark contrast to the demanding rigors of his isolated existence. The day continues, leaving his resting companion behind. The hermit steps back into the jungle with a bamboo basket strapped to his back. His target is a thriving patch of mustard greens, which he systematically harvests to secure fresh vegetables for the upcoming meals. The swift slicing of the thick stems signals a seamless transition from hydraulic engineering back to traditional agricultural gathering. This deliberate rhythm underscores his deep connection to the land. The harvest proves heavy. He stuffs the bamboo basket to its absolute limit, bearing the substantial weight back through the rugged forest trail. Yet bringing the crops home is only half the process, as he immediately submerges the leafy greens into the flowing stream. This rigorous washing in cold natural water removes all soil and debris, ensuring the highest standard of hygiene for his food preservation. The clear current swirls around the vegetables, cleansing them thoroughly before they are lifted from the water. Each bundle is then placed neatly onto a woven tray, with droplets sliding off the fresh leaves. Preparation starts. He carefully transfers the washed greens onto a large circular windwing tray, allowing the mountain breeze to evaporate the excess surface moisture. But the drying process requires constant attention, prompting him to move the tray to a shaded rack before returning to the cabin. Inside, he begins the meticulous sorting process, separating the leaves to prepare them for the crucial salting and pickling stages. The pickling ritual commences, A generous handful of coarse salt is evenly distributed over the greens, without initiating the osmotic process that draws out bitter juices. It is not just a random seasoning, but a precise chemical treatment, followed by a scalding hot water bath to soften the fibrous tissues. He then arranges the treated vegetables in a perfect radial pattern on the tray, maximizing air circulation for optimal dehydration. The dog sniffs curiously at the sharp scent, prompting a gentle shoo from the man as he continues his work with steady hands. The preservation process is now secured. The partially dehydrated greens are tightly packed into a large plastic jar, completely filling the available space. However, the final step requires pouring the original pickling brine to submerge the vegetables entirely, creating an anaerobic environment for fermentation. After sealing the heavy lid, the hermit sits down for a modest dinner, his hard-earned food reserve now safely locked away for the future twilight descends. He savors his simple meal in peaceful silence, occasionally glancing at Dick, who stands guard nearby with quiet loyalty. This quiet dinner is not merely a biological necessity, but a moment of deep reflection on the day's monumental achievements and the simple joy of survival. As darkness fully envelops the forest, the hermit picks up a green watering can. He steps out into the night to irrigate the crops, guided only by the faint warm glow of cabin lights that pierce the surrounding gloom. The solitary mountain dweller begins his morning routine with quiet discipline. He meticulously combs his hair before the mirror and changes into sturdy work clothes, preparing for the day's demanding physical labor ahead. After carefully securing his sharp machete to his belt, he steps out into the fresh air, transforming from a relaxed hermit into a focused cultivator ready for the challenges of the wilderness. Cultivation begins in earnest. Kneeling beside the babbling creek, a child grips a short-handled hoe to dig precise shallow pits in the freshly turned earth. He gently removes the protective bag, revealing the intact soil ball, and lowers the fragile seedling into its new home with care. With both hands he gathers the damp soil around the tender roots, pressing down firmly to anchor the young plant. This is not mere gardening, but a deliberate quiet act of sustaining life against the wild. With the rows of seedlings now perfectly aligned, he rises to survey his labor. The scene shifts to the wooden porch, where a spotted dog trots lightly across the bridge and slips into the open door. He cups its head, thumbs gently rubbing its forehead. The dog closes its eyes, savoring the touch. This quiet ritual of massage rewards silent companionship, underscoring the deep, unspoken bond between man and beast in this solitary life. Joy erupts suddenly. The energetic Shiba Inu leaps into his arms, turning a peaceful moment into a lively wrestling match that echoes through the valley. This sudden burst of vitality proves that even the wildest solitude requires lively company. To truly thrive in such isolation, the call of the harvest echoes loudly through the quiet fields. Navigating carefully through the dense melon shed, he identifies the ripe green pumpkins hidden beneath the thick layers of leaves. With a swift and practiced motion, he cuts them down using a sharp blade. Each precise strike guarantees a steady food supply for the coming days, while his loyal dog watches nearby with an eager wagging tail, celebrating the bounty of their shared labor in this peaceful rural setting where nature provides abundantly. He spots a large yellow gourd and cuts it free, clearing away the withered vines. His swift motions reveal deep farming skill. He stacks the fresh harvest neatly atop others in the bamboo basket, which is now more than half full of produce. The journey home begins. With a heavy load on his back, a child glances at the dog before starting a steady descent down the mountain. Back at the wooden cabin nestled in the forest, he enters with his canine companion. From the basket he carefully takes out each pumpkin, arranging round and elongated ones neatly against the wall. This meticulous action reveals a disciplined mind finding order within the wild. Fire ignites brightly, fetching a small pot. He places it over the roaring earthen stove, waiting for the mountain spring water to reach a rolling boil. The crackling flames not only heat the water, but also warm the chilly air. The loyal dog watches from the steps as steam begins to rise and fill the quiet room with gentle warmth and a sense of deep comfort. He lifts a whole cured pork from the bamboo basket and gently submerges it in the rolling boil, using chopsticks to turn the meat for a thorough cleansing. On the wooden board, his steady hands slice through the hardened exterior with precision, creating uniform pieces that reveal a striking marble contrast of deep red meat and white fat. These carefully prepared slices are then placed into the dark pan one by one, laying them flat across the surface to ensure even contact with the rising heat. Aroma rises quickly. He places the cured pork in the heated wok, stirring constantly until the edges turn golden and crisp. Then a generous handful of vibrant green scallions is scattered across the sizzling meat, creating a striking contrast of colors. A rich fragrance fills the air as he carefully transfers the dish onto a bamboo tray, arranging each piece with meticulous care to create an appealing and appetizing presentation. The ingredients shift smoothly across the workspace. With the fragrant pork already plated and steaming, he turns his full attention to a deep green pumpkin resting nearby. He cleaves it open with care to reveal the bright golden flesh within. After clearing away the seeds, he dices the fruit into neat, uniform cubes with practiced ease. This careful preparation ensures a balanced and nourishing dinner for the evening ahead, blending rustic charm with culinary precision. Dinner is served. Sitting on a small stool by the hearth, the Chio savors the rich pork and tender pumpkin, eating with quiet satisfaction and focus. His pet dog wanders casually in the background, adding a touch of life to the rustic scene. He lifts a large piece of pumpkin, swallowing it with evident enjoyment. This solitary meal serves as the ultimate reward for a day of grueling physical labor, reflecting the serene peace and simple warmth of his mountain life. The first light of dawn filters through the dense fog, casting a soft glow over the silent forest. Inside the rustic cabin, a chow rises and methodically prepares for the day. He pushes open the heavy wooden door, welcoming the crisp morning air before securing his sword at his waist. Kneeling by a basin, he soaks a pale pink towel in cool spring water while his curious dog watches closely. After wringing it out, he presses the damp cloth firmly against his face, the chilling sensation effectively washing away the last traces of sleepiness. Chores resume promptly. After sharing dog food with his eager pets, he grabs a watering can and irrigates the lush vegetable rows. Nurturing these crops in the morning sun is a vital investment in his future survival. The tall papaya tree stands guard nearby, its fruit promising sweetness later. He fetches water from the creek, carrying life back to the thirsty soil. This daily rhythm ensures hunger remains at bay. The harvest begins in earnest. Returning to the creekside plots, he scans the towering green waves with a sharp and focused eye. He meticulously selects and plucks only the most mature mustard leaves from the dense vegetation surrounding him. Every single picked leaf represents a careful calculation of yield to ensure optimal quality for his future stores. The final gathering concludes, snapping the last thick mustard hearts. He bundles the massive haul with care. With steady steps, he marches toward the bamboo basket, while the loyal Shiba Inu runs happily nearby. This heavy load signifies a highly successful foraging expedition in the fertile valley, marking the satisfying end of hard labor. Carrying his mountain knife with ease, a chow steps over the jagged stones bordering the vegetable garden. His two dogs have already disappeared into the thick tree line ahead. He follows into the dense woodland, sending out crisp whistles to call his pets back. Sunlight filters down, dancing among the vibrant green leaves of the canopy. This purposeful walk demonstrates his intimate knowledge and absolute mastery of this rugged mountain terrain. Arrival brings a profound sense of relief. He drops the heavy basket onto the wooden corridor with a long, weary sigh. Then retrieves a giant circular bamboo winnowing tray from inside the house. Carefully, he spreads 2 large bundles of fresh mustard greens across its woven surface. The crisp rhythmic rustling of leaves breaks the deep mountain silence, marking the quiet but essential shift from rugged field harvesting to meticulous indoor processing. This moment captures the transition from outdoor labor to careful preparation. Sorting begins with care. Kneeling beside the overflowing tray, he meticulously removes impurities and binds the stems tightly with thin ropes to create uniform bundles. Beside him, and rests quietly, a silent companion in this labor. This painstaking sorting process ensures that only the highest quality vegetables reach the market, reflecting his dedication to craft. He carefully packs the neatly tied bundles of mustard greens tightly into the basket's remaining crevices. Before departing for the village market to sell his harvest, he gently pats his loyal Shiba Inu Nin, who sits quietly by his side. This tender farewell underscores the deep emotional anchor his pets provide in his isolated rural life. The other dog watches silently from the corridor's end as he prepares to leave. The morning ritual begins. A chow steps out with a bag of blue packaged dog food, crouching on the corridor to call his 2 eager companions. As they gather with wagging tails, he scatters the kibble onto the sunlit wooden floor, watching them devour it while stroking their heads with deep affection. His gentle reminder to guard the house reveals a profound trust in these loyal animal friends, highlighting the quiet bond that sustains him in this peaceful rural setting. The market hustle begins as he stops before a quiet village house, unloading his woven basket. He enthusiastically promotes the exceptional tenderness of his fresh mustard greens to a local woman in a floral dress. After completing the first sale with ease, he confidently shoulders the heavy basket again, walking deeper into the dusty village paths to maximize his daily earnings through persistent and loud hawking. The journey continues as he encounters an elderly villager accompanied by her young grandchildren, playing in the sunlit courtyard. Intrigued by the vibrant produce, she carefully selects 4 bundles, intending to preserve the fresh greens as pickled mustard for her family meals. A chow calculates the total cost with practiced ease, engaging in a friendly exchange about traditional farming techniques, while finalizing the transaction under the warm sunlight. The day ends on a high note. He hands the last of his fresh produce to an elderly villager, exchanging warm words before bidding a loud farewell to the entire community. With the empty basket strapped securely to his back, he walks briskly away on the narrow forest path. The lightness of his step clearly reflecting a successful and profitable trip, as finally comes to a close. The Shiba Inu Nin bounds down the steps to greet him with a wagging tail. He crouches low to rub the dog's cheeks warmly before entering the wooden cabin where sensor lights flicker on. Sliding the heavy basket from his shoulder, he pulls out a crumpled stack of Vietnamese dong from his pocket, spreading the bills carefully on his knee. He counts them one by one to verify the exact financial return of his day's hard work and effort. The work resumes without delay. After carefully folding the earned cash and tucking it into his pocket, he rises to his feet. A quick brush removes dust from his trousers, revealing a mood that seems notably lighter. He crouches by a simple basin, cupping cool mountain spring water to splash vigorously against his face. The droplets leave him looking refreshed and alert. Bending forward, he grips a heavy hoe and strikes the ground with force. The damp soil yields smoothly under his rhythmic blows as he prepares the earth for the next planting cycle. He carries a basin of delicate asparagus seedlings, crouching by the furrow. He measures spacing in the loose reddish soil. With his fingers he digs small holes one by one. Then he lifts a fragile plant and settles it gently into the earth. Moving along the row with steady rhythm, he repeats the process. Behind him, layered stone walls and lush greenery stand silent witness. This is not merely planting. It is a patient investment in a perennial crop that will yield harvests for years to come. Night falls quietly. He finishes his simple meal on the bench, gathers the bowls, and ends another exhausting yet deeply fulfilling day in his sanctuary. Tiny silver, carp fry. 1 year ago, this solitary woodsman carefully released a batch of juvenile fish into the tranquil waters, entrusting his fragile hope to the vast ecosystem. What appeared to be a simple act of mercy was in truth the planting of a long-term ecological pact with nature. The gentle ripples marked not just an ending, but a quiet beginning for life beneath the surface, where survival would depend on unseen currents and a slow passage of time. Time reshapes the wild. Returning to the exact coordinates 12 months later, the woodsman discovers those tiny fry have transformed into formidable river giants, testing his primitive bamboo rod with explosive strikes. The harvest of patience has finally arrived. Preparation demands absolute precision. Back at the wooden cabin, the woodsman meticulously grinds cooked rice and crushed grain powder into a dense aromatic paste. He adjusts the texture with focused intensity, sweat forming on his brow as he ensures it can withstand strong water currents. This is not mere bake preparation, but the careful crafting of a specialized survival tool for the river ahead. The mixture becomes sticky and resilient under his skilled hands, ready to be shaped into perfect spheres. Nature provides the packaging. With meticulous care, he wraps the dense bait balls in fresh banana leaves to lock in moisture and scent. Shouldering his woven basket, the woodsman steps away from the cabin and into the dense echoing rainforest. The air is thick with humidity as he navigates through giant leaves and tangled vines. Every deliberate step deeper into the green canopy brings him closer to the ultimate test of survival. The destination reveals itself as a secluded bay. Standing on the high rocky ledge, he sets down his heavy basket and carefully scans the quiet water for the perfect spot. Then he crouches to unwrap the banana leaves, exposing the pale, fragrant grain spheres within. The stage is now perfectly set for the silent hunt. Strategy precedes physical action. He tosses small fragments into the water, a deliberate attempt to gather the hidden school beneath the surface. With meticulous care, he conceals the sharp hook within a plump bait ball, ensuring no metallic lint betrays the trap. Yet the weary prey offers only cautious rejection, leaving the line slack. True mastery demands recalibrating the approach without losing composure, as he prepares to try again. To preserve freshness, the first heavy catch is secured within a cascading waterfall, anchored carefully by stones to keep it alive. The woodsman immediately resumes his post, as the bamboo rod bends violently under the weight of a second massive struggle. This river demands absolute physical endurance from anyone who dares to challenge its depths and conquer its wild, untamed, and dangerous spirit. With a powerful upward heave, another fat carp is dragged onto the dry rocks, its frantic thrashing echoing the abundance of this wild place. The woodsman raises his arms in triumph, celebrating nature's generous gift. The necessity for constant evolution is clear. Harvesting highly flexible wild vines from the sheer cliff face, the woodsman tightly binds the bamboo rod to reinforce its structural integrity against the brutal pulling force of deep water Leviathans. This carefully upgraded weapon ensures the next battle ends in triumph. The rhythm intensifies greatly. Sensing the violent tug beneath the surface, the woodsman executes a flawless sequence of strikes, launching 2 more colossal carp onto the rocky shore in rapid succession. The bamboo basket is now visibly overflowing with the river's ultimate and hard-won bounty. Shelter requires solid fortification. Returning to the campsite, the woodsman begins laying the heavy foundation stones for a massive U-shaped defensive wall, meticulously aligning each massive rock to ensure absolute structural stability. This is not just building a wall, but establishing a permanent sanctuary in the wild. True strength resides in the details. By interlocking the stones to form a highly resistant cross-brace pattern, the woodsman carefully hoists a gigantic gray capstone. This final piece locks the entire structure into an unbreakable unity. The sheer crushing weight of the stone seals the fortress, ensuring its permanence against the elements. The preservation process commences with a careful ignition of fire. As dry brush catches flame, thick aromatic smoke begins to billow steadily from the stacked wood. The woodsman then takes fresh catches and expertly threads them onto sharp bamboo skewers. With a heavy wooden mallet, he drives 30 stakes deep into the earth to support the framework. Thus, the slow transformation from raw meat to lasting sustenance has truly begun. Architecture meets culinary art. Lashing the long bamboo poles across the Y-shaped forks of the driven stakes, he meticulously hangs the skewered fish in perfect rows above the smoldering embers. The gentle wisps of smoke begin their slow transformative embrace of the harvest, infusing the meat with a deep, savory flavor that will sustain him through the coming winter months. This ancient method ensures nothing is wasted, turning a simple catch into a vital resource for survival. Balance is the key. Harvesting fresh, bitter melons from the garden trellis, the woodsman swiftly chops them into uniform slices inside the cabin and heats the iron wok with a splash of oil. The sharp sizzle signals the transition from hard labor to domestic comfort. This simple ritual reveals a deep respect for nature's bounty, transforming raw ingredients into sustenance with practiced ease and quiet dignity. Flavors melt together perfectly, tossing the fresh green slices into the roaring wok for a rapid and vigorous stir-fry. The woodsman eventually sits down to dip a large piece of rich brown smoked fish into the vibrant bitter melon soup. The perfect harmony of smoky richness and crisp bitterness fills the quiet wooden room with a sense of deep warmth and pure simple satisfaction. Loyalty must be rewarded. After finishing his hearty meal of rice and soup, the woodsman steps outside to divide the remaining fish broth and rice between his faithful spotted hound and the energetic little Nick. The shared feast reinforces the unbreakable bond between man and beast. Each portion is carefully measured, ensuring both animals receive their fair share of the nourishing meal. The harvest reaches its final stage, while little Nick struggles with determination against a fishbone far too large for his jaws. The woodsman stands beneath the dappled sunlight to inspect the drying racks. He assesses each piece with solemn focus, seeking the precise level of dehydration required for perfect preservation. With careful precision, he cuts the binding vines and catches the finished smoked fish as they fall, placing the first successful product into his basket. The long curing process has finally reached its conclusion. Long-term storage demands rigor. The woodsman presses the smoked fish tightly into a basin, layering them with coarse white salt taken from a nearby clay jar. He then carefully wraps the container with broad banana leaves, pressing the veins firmly to create an airtight seal against the rim. This meticulous preservation ensures the hard-won bounty will survive the changing seasons ahead. The sweetness of the freshly peeled melon concludes the day. After taking a crisp, satisfying bite, the woodsman gently calls out to his loyal companion. Mick arrives with eager anticipation, wagging his tail as he approaches to share in a quiet moment. A tender slice of the juicy fruit is carefully offered, as the dog accepts the gift. The harshness of the wilderness seems to melt away into pure tranquility. This simple act reveals a deep bond between man and beast, baking shapes, rice dough into flat cakes, baking them over the fire. He feeds crumbs to ning-ning, finding true joy in these simple moments. Morning dew lingers. Aching enters the lush field seeking the most mature mustard greens. He swiftly uproots the robust crops, ensuring premium quality as his basket gradually overflows with a truly bountiful harvest. Nature proves unforgiving. Discovering a pumpkin half devoured by rodents, icing sighs and resignation. He swiftly harvests the intact ones, packs the heavy load securely, and departs the cultivation zone. Urban chaos awaits. Yet navigating the bustling rain-slick market streets, Acting secures a modest stall and quickly attracts a local vendor with his fresh greens. As more customers gather, he efficiently weighs the produce and collects his hard-earned cash, turning labor into livelihood. Sales done. Aching folds the empty red bags with care, then walks slightly home through the hills. He calls out. Ning runs to him excitedly. A king pets the dog, gently shares a rice cake, and eats quietly on the threshold. The mountain cabin stands serene in morning mist. Chimney smoke rises gently as chickens forage nearby, bringing a brief pastoral tranquility to the valley. Aging strips the thick brown skin from the freshly harvested cassava, revealing pristine white flesh, then chops the tubers into uniform segments. This meticulous preparation ensures purity, reflecting his uncompromising standards for the final dish. Cleanliness remains paramount. Aching meticulously inspects each piece in the creek, ensuring no debris lingers. He retrieves his iron pot and treks back to the cabin, greeted by Ning Ning's cheerful barks. Placing the vessel over the roaring earthen stove, he allows the boiling steam to fill the warm room. Texture matters, yet probing the boiled cassava with a wooden chopstick to confirm its softness. Acting transfers the tubers to a banana leaf and vigorously mashes them with a heavy wooden pestle. The repetitive pounding transforms the chunks into a smooth white paste. With hands dampened by clear water, he gathers a large portion of this sticky mixture. Through careful kneading in his palms, he shapes the pliable dough into perfect smooth spheres, preparing them for the next stage of culinary transformation. Precision follows. Pressing the cassava spheres into evenly thick flatbreads, Acting carefully arranges them on a bamboo grill positioned over the glowing charcoal embers. Using chopsticks, he meticulously flips the cakes until distinct brown char marks signify their readiness, transforming simple roots into a warm culinary delight that represents the quiet, satisfying fruits of his long morning labor. A quiet moment of affection unfolds. King tears a piece from the crispy flatbread from Ning Ning, who eagerly accepts the treat with a rapidly wagging tail. While the dog munches on the bread, King takes a bite of his own meal, playfully asking if the taste is good, or if the pet is simply begging. After finishing, Ning looks up and gently licks King's hand in gratitude. The scene concludes with AC using a light blue comb to carefully brush the dog's long fur, collecting shed hair and reinforcing their unbreakable bond through this simple act of daily care. The call of the wild beckons. Hoisting a massive bamboo basket onto his back, King carefully secures the wooden cabin door. He then strides confidently into the dense emerald forest, with Ning Ning leading the way along the leaf-strewn path. Upon reaching a fertile patch, he swiftly harvests the first batch of plump mustard leaves, His experienced hands restarting the daily cycle. Abundance is evident. Tossing the harvested greens into the basket. Aiken exerts his strength to uproot a particularly colossal plant. Its thick roots tearing through the soil with force. The basket rapidly fills to the brim, accommodating the massive volume of fresh greens and signaling a highly productive harvesting session for him. The fertility of this land is undeniable. Aiken carefully selects and plucks the largest mustard plant of the day. A subtle smile of satisfaction appearing on his face. With a decisive snap, he breaks the final thick stem. The crisp sound marking the formal end of his harvest. Moving to another dense cluster near the stream, he tests the firmness of the hearts before proceeding. Weaving through the lush foliage, he continuously gathers the mature vegetables. The bundle in his hands growing steadily thicker and more substantial with each addition. The terrain shifts beneath his feet. Balancing a towering bundle of greens against his chest, Aiken carefully navigates the rocky creek and ascends to a higher terrace where the leaves grow even broader with distinct serrated edges. He lifts two massive stalks for close inspection, revealing a look of quiet satisfaction at their exceptional quality. As he clears the dense foliage away, the freshly harvested earth is fully exposed, appearing chaotic yet rich with the tangible rewards of his hard labor today. The final effort demands absolute focus and precision. Adjusting his precarious load, the king meticulously stacks the last batch of vegetables into neat, visually satisfying rows that stretch out in an orderly fashion. He bends by the stream to carefully pluck the most tender hearts near the water source, selecting only the crispest pieces for their superior texture. Then he hoists the immensely heavy red bag, feeling the sheer weight of his harvest as he prepares for the long trek ahead. A moment of respite arrives. Parting the dense pumpkin vines, Aiken discovers a thriving cucumber and swiftly plucks it. He takes a large bite, the crisp crunch echoing clearly as he savors the fresh taste. His gaze sweeping over the lush verdant mountain scene. Nearby Ningning sits quietly beside a large stone, alert and watchful, guarding its master with vigilant eyes. Yet nature exacts its toll. Lifting a withered leaf, Aiken reveals a pumpkin hollowed out by pests, a silent reminder of the relentless struggle within his abundant garden. Fortune clearly favors the persistent. Amidst fallen leaves, Aiken discovers a long green-skinned pumpkin. With decisive precision, he severs the vine and continues his rapid pace through the patch. He moves with purpose, repeatedly bending to slash stems and gather heavy fruits, which steadily accumulate around his feet. Upon reaching the final collection point, he carefully arranges each pumpkin along the edge of a large bamboo tray. As he places the last two into position, the massive haul rises like a veritable mountain of produce, marking the culmination of his diligent labor. The inventory is confirmed. Pointing at the pumpkins, Aiken counts exactly 12 fruits, his focused demeanor reflecting the sheer volume of his achievement. Returning to the mustard greens, he hoists both the heavy basket and the loaded tray, trekking toward the warmly lit cabin in the distance. The journey through the forest feels arduous yet purposeful, as he carries the weight of his labor toward a place of rest. Each step forward demonstrates his resilience, moving steadily through the shadows toward the glowing sanctuary ahead. The return home brings a quiet sense of relief. As he empties the red bag onto the wooden deck, Aiken handles the fresh greens with gentle care to prevent any bruising. He greets the excited Ningning with warm affection, before trimming the old roots while muttering softly to himself. Then he begins packing the heavy pumpkins one by one into the bottom of the sturdy woven bamboo basket. To maximize capacity, he stuffs the remaining greens into the basket, pressing them down firmly to ensure every inch of space is utilized. Shouldering the immensely heavy load, Aiken leaves the cabin and navigates through the quiet rural village, eventually arriving at the bustling town market to meet a familiar vendor who inspects the fresh produce with care and attention. Preparing for the day's trade ahead, the transaction concludes swiftly as the vendor hands over a 10,000 note, sealing a smooth and polite exchange that reflects their mutual respect. Despite the muddy rain-soaked streets where pedestrians hurry by under gray skies, Aiken unpacks vibrant greens and meticulously wipes every speck of dirt from small pumpkins, presenting his goods with utmost care to ensure they look appealing to potential buyers in this bustling market scene. The art of salesmanship takes center stage. Seated behind his modest stall, Aiken calls out to the passing crowd with a warm and genuine smile on his face. He quickly strikes a natural deal with a curious woman wearing a traditional bamboo hat. Pausing only briefly to take a refreshing sip of water from his bottle, he tirelessly continues his efforts to attract new buyers amidst the increasingly noisy and chaotic market atmosphere. His eyes remain sharp, observing other stalls while maintaining his own pitch. Customer engagement deepens significantly. Assisting a young woman in selecting the finest greens, a king enthusiastically explains the crop's extended growing period to an older customer, highlighting that the vegetables are at their most tender right before flowering. His honest pitch builds immediate trust, facilitating multiple rapid transactions, and effectively clearing the stock with remarkable efficiency and professional ease throughout the busy morning. The transaction concludes with grace. Aiken calculates the total and returns the exact change, politely thanking the young woman who praises both his pumpkins and his spirited demeanor. Observing a group of older women deliberating over their choices, he proactively offers the final 3 pumpkins at a discounted bulk rate. This strategic move allows him to clear the remaining inventory efficiently, demonstrating his shrewd yet courteous approach to business as the day draws to a close. His genuine politeness ensures every interaction ends positively, reinforcing his reputation as a trustworthy vendor in the local market. Day's end approaches. After collecting his earnings and cleaning the stall, Aiken departs the noisy market. He walks alone along the damp highway, with distant mountains looming under a gloomy sky. Upon reaching the secluded cabin, he is immediately greeted by an overjoyed Ning. The dog leaps into his arms, and they share a warm, affectionate embrace that speaks of deep bond. Tall trees yield their bounty. The precise strike of a long pole brings down the heavy fruit, marking the start of rural sustenance. Fluffy yellow ducklings emerge from a warming box, signaling a new chapter in self-reliance. Settled within their wooden enclosure, the young birds adapt quickly to their habitat, eagerly pecking at scattered feed. This simple act lays the foundation for a thriving homestead. Spiced pork sizzles over glowing charcoal. A man cuts the meat and takes a hearty bite, savoring the rich flavor of his own labor with deep, quiet satisfaction. Night falls, and the warm glow of 2 cabins emerges faintly from the darkness. The rhythmic swinging of the pole resumes, bringing down another massive cluster of green and yellow fruit under the cover of night. Catching the heavy bunch before it hits the ground prevents any bruising of the valuable crop. Swiftly, the machete divides the massive stalk into manageable portions, perfectly balanced for the arduous journey ahead. This meticulous preparation ensures that no effort is wasted in the demanding mountain terrain, preserving the hard-earned harvest with care. The village market awakens. Arriving at the bustling square, the forger unrolls his red canvas, arranging harvested bananas with practiced precision. A period of patient waiting follows, as the lively crowd flows past the modest stall. Soon local residents approach, carefully inspecting the quality of the produce before making their selections. Coins change hands as the first transactions of the day are smoothly completed, validating the early morning's hard work. The vibrant exchange breathes life into the rural economy. Customers continue to arrive. The steady stream of buyers persists, with each patron negotiating and selecting the finest bunches available for their households. Even the elderly take their time, ensuring they acquire the exact ripeness they desire. As the red canvas gradually empties, the bustling energy of the stall begins to wane. Folding the cloth marks the definitive end of the morning's commerce, signaling a successful conversion of harvest into livelihood. The transition from vendor to consumer is now ready to commence. The district central market calls on day 2. The scene shifts to a larger, more vibrant hub, teeming with a wider array of vendors and shoppers. The familiar red canvas is once again deployed, transforming a simple patch of dirt into a bustling commercial space. New faces approach the stall, their discerning eyes carefully evaluating the green bananas intended for later ripening. The vendor assists with quiet efficiency, guiding each selection and securing the deals with practiced ease. Expanding his trade clearly requires adapting to this more prominent and demanding center of commerce. A moment of respite. Finalizing the last few sales, the vendor packs the remaining fruit, allowing a rare pause in the bustling environment. Peeling a fresh banana, he takes a slow bite, letting the natural sweetness replenish his expended energy. Gazing out at the busy street, the brief break offers a necessary mental reset amidst the physical toil. It is not merely a snack, but rather a well-earned reward that bridges the gap between relentless labor and personal restoration. The stall is dismantled. With inventory sold, the canvas is cleared for the next phase of provisioning. Navigating through aisles of daily goods, the forager arrives at the meat section, his purpose defined. Pointing to a specific cut, he watches the vendor prepare it for weighing. The exchange of fresh meat for cash completes the cycle of rural sustenance. Securing quality protein is crucial before returning to the forest. The poultry shop awaits. After selling the meat bill, the forager heads to a specialized store marked by a prominent red sign. Inside warming lamps illuminate a wooden brooder filled with chirping yellow ducklings, a lively contrast to the quiet forest. The assistant prepares a black crate, ready to transfer the fragile lives. This acquisition represents a long-term investment in the homestead's future, extending self-reliance beyond mere foraging. The ducklings are gathered. Crouching beside the brooder, the forager gently scoops the birds into the crate, their soft chirps filling the small space. Once every duckling is secured, the assistant seals the cardboard boxes with wide tape, ensuring a safe journey through the rugged terrain. Handing over the payment, the transaction is finalized, cementing the bond between the mountain dweller and the market suppliers. The careful handling of the livestock underscores a deep respect for the delicate balance of rural farming. The journey home begins. Hoisting the heavy basket onto his shoulders, the forager adjusts the straps, bearing the weight of his dual harvest. The path back traces a familiar route line with banana trees, leading steadily toward the secluded wooden cabin. Upon reaching the steps, a light-furred dog rushes out, its wagging tail expressing pure, unadulterated joy at the reunion. This warm welcome serves as the emotional anchor, transforming a simple shelter into a true home. The reunion is complete. Kneeling, the forager affectionately strokes the dog, reciprocating its enthusiastic greeting. Curious ducklings emerge from boxes, gently guided down the ramp into their new enclosure. The final birds are carefully placed inside, completing the relocation with quiet efficiency. Securing these new arrivals ensures their safety, allowing the homestead to gradually expand its lively inhabitants. Yeah. The ducklings drink eagerly after finishing their feed. The man closes the small wooden door, securing the latch to keep the flock safe for the night. Moving to culinary tasks, he thoroughly washes raw meat in a blue basin, placing the clean cuts on a broad banana leaf. Bridges daily chores with evening meal preparation. The rhythmic chopping of garlic reveals a meticulous approach, slicing cloves into uniform thin pieces. Red chilies are cut into small rings, their vibrant color contrasting sharply with the pale barley. These aromatics are combined in a white bowl, where brown powdered seasoning is added to deepen the flavor profile. Rapid stirring with chopsticks blends the ingredients into a rich dark sauce ready for use. The fire is lit. Using a lemongrass brush, the forager evenly coats the meat with the prepared sauce, ensuring every surface is infused with the complex spices. Split bamboo skewers are then carefully inserted, clamping the seasoned cuts firmly in place for the grilling process. Tending to the earthen stove, he stirs the charcoal with a wooden stick, coaxing the flames into a robust even heat. As the meat meets the fire, the rendering fat begins to sizzle, releasing an intoxicating aroma. The meat reaches perfection. The exterior gradually darkens, achieving a crispy caramelized crust while the smoky fragrance permeates the surroundings. Taking a momentary break, the forager sits on the ground, gently combing the dog's fur in a display of quiet affection. Returning to the stove, he inspects the progress, confirming that the perfect level of doneness has been reached. Removing the skewers from the fire marks the culmination of the cooking process, presenting a masterpiece of rustic cuisine. Yeah. The day draws to a close. Licking his fingers clean, the forager signals the end of a satisfying meal, while the dog finishes the scraps. As the hearth fire dims to embers, tranquility settles over the scene. Sitting at the cabin entrance, he drinks from a metal cup, washing away the feast remnants. Rising, he steps into the dark interior, leaving the door open to the gentle night breeze. A blazing fire ignites within the earthen stove. The morning ritual in this deep mountain cabin begins not with idle chatter, but with the steady burning of firewood to warm the hearth and prepare for the day ahead. White smoke rises slowly from the green chimney on the roof, blending seamlessly into the surrounding forest background. A loyal Shiba Inu rests quietly on the wooden floor, witnessing the daily routine of its master with gentle eyes. The young hermit dons his coat with practiced ease and grabs a large bamboo basket, stepping out into the crisp air to commence another day of self-sufficient labor in the wild. Deep in the woods, the young hermit navigates through dense forest and across withered fields, his steady pace reflecting a clear purpose for the day ahead. Arriving at the papaya orchard, he carefully evaluates the ripeness of hanging fruits, ensuring only the best are selected. He lines the bamboo basket with raw banana leaves, creating a protective cushion to prevent damage to the delicate harvest during transport. Harvest time arrives. He reaches for a half-yellow papaya, examining it closely before picking a fully ripe one, ensuring a perfect balance of flavors for the upcoming trade. The bamboo basket is gradually filled with these colorful fruits, arranged neatly to maximize space and maintain their pristine quality. With a heavy load secured on his back, the young hermit adjusts the straps and walks through the dense cornfield, carrying the tangible rewards of his hard work back to the base camp. Protection first. He lines the basket with additional papaya leaves, providing an extra layer of care for the gathered harvest, before placing each fruit gently inside to ensure their integrity. Crouching on the ground, he slices open a perfectly ripe papaya, revealing the vibrant orange flesh and dark seeds hidden within the thick skin. Taking a large bite of the peeled fruit, the young hermit savors the sweet taste, enjoying the immediate and pure gratification of his own agricultural labor, sustenance gathered. After savoring the sweet flesh, he places the basket on a stump, adjusting straps to bear the weight with a slight forward lean. Leaving the orchard, the young hermit walks the dirt road, transitioning from forest isolation toward human settlement. Motorcycles and villagers mark his approach as he carries fresh produce to the bustling rural market. Trading his harvest for daily necessities, entering the market. Amidst a crowd of vendors and playing children, the young hermit finds a spot by the road and sets down his heavy bamboo basket to rest his aching shoulders. Unrolling a red woven bag on the ground, he carefully arranges the papayas in neat rows, transforming a simple roadside patch into a proper commercial stall. Sitting quietly beside his display, the former forest dweller now waits patiently for customers, fully embracing the vibrant and noisy atmosphere of the local bazaar. Kalaya. Yeah. The business day commences with quiet purpose. A father clad in a white and blue jacket lifts his child gently, preparing to depart after their selection is made. The vendor holds the received banknotes, a warm smile gracing his face as he watches them leave with satisfaction. Soon, a young woman in a pink down jacket and straw hat crouches before the stall, carefully inspecting the papayas. The vendor assists her, lifting a fruit for a closer examination. She pays promptly and hands over the bagged produce, completing the transaction with seamless efficiency. Meanwhile, two other women, one in black and another in brown with a hat, join the gathering crowd. They squat down to scrutinize the remaining stock, seeking the largest and most promising specimens for their households. Sharing the harvest. The woman in black completes her purchase, taking the packed bag and leaving the stall with her selection secured for the journey home. Another young woman approaches receiving a papaya from the vendor who begins to pack it for her without delay. To promote his fresh goods, the young hermit slices open a ripe papaya and offers the golden pieces to two young local girls nearby. Watching them enjoy the sweet fruit with genuine smiles, the vendor experiences the simple joy of sharing his agricultural success with the community. Wrapping up sales. An elderly grandmother pays for a bag of papayas and walks away slowly, leaving the vendor to count the crumpled bills in his hand with a satisfied expression. Two young female customers finish their selection, taking the red bags and turning to leave after a successful and friendly transaction. The young hermit skillfully folds the empty red bags and places them into his bamboo backpack, organizing a stall as the rush of customers gradually subsides in the warm afternoon sun. Market errands done. Crouching before a stall of knives and farm tools, the young hermit draws a blade to inspect its edge, ensuring it meets his rigorous standards for survival. Later he walks a narrow forest path with his bamboo backpack, accompanied by his loyal Shiba Inu through dense banana trees. Pushing open the simple wooden door, he steps inside and closes it, sealing himself back into the profound silence of the deep mountains. Back to farm duties. Stepping out with a bamboo winnowing tray, the young hermit scatters feed for the gathering ducklings, watching them peck at the food with lively energy and innocent curiosity. He then lifts the dark netting covering the chicken coop, inspecting the numerous eggs nestled in the bamboo nest to check their development, and ensure a steady food supply. Carrying a rectangular wooden box and a hammer, he walks down the steps to the side of the coop, placing the materials on the frame to begin constructing a new and improved laying box for the hens, building the nest. He strikes the internal boards of the wooden box with forceful hammer blows, reinforcing the structure to provide a safe and durable environment for the laying hens against potential predators. Stuffing dry grass into the box, he presses it down firmly to create a soft, even and comfortable bedding that will protect the delicate eggs from breaking. Lifting the completed box, he carefully positions it on the upper laying area of the coop, adjusting it for maximum stability before turning away as the Shiba Inu runs over to greet him with a wagging tail, preparing a wild feast. Crouching before the earth stove in the kitchen, the young hermit adds more firewood to the glowing embers, ensuring a steady heat for the upcoming outdoor cooking session in the wild. Carrying a woven bamboo basket, he walks down the steps and enters the lush jungle environment, heading straight for the vegetable garden to gather fresh ingredients. Moving carefully among the tomato vines, he picks the fully ripened red tomatoes, placing them gently into the basket, where their vibrant colors contrast sharply with the surrounding green leaves of the deep forest. Primitive cooking begins. He pours the harvested tomatoes into a blue basin, letting the clear water flow from a bamboo pipe to wash away the dirt and prepare the fresh vegetables for the fire. Placing the tomatoes and red peppers on the wooden table, he brings out a piece of raw meat and begins to chop it with swift, precise knife strokes to ensure even cooking. Using chopsticks, he picks up the meat slices and places them one by one onto the heated stone slab over the earth stove, where they instantly sizzle and release a rich, mouth-watering aroma into the mountain air. Sharing the meal, he transfers the roasted meat from the stone slab to a wooden board, wielding a large cleaver to chop the meat into uniform, bite-sized cubes with impressive culinary skill and dedication. Scooping up the freshly cut meat dices with his bare hands, he places them into a small green bamboo plate, prepared specifically for his loyal companion. Setting the bamboo plate on the wooden floor, he watches as the Shiba Inu approaches, sniffs the delicious treat, and begins to eat heartily, rewarding the hermit's care with eager satisfaction and unwavering loyalty. A peaceful interlude. The young hermit sits quietly, watching his dog consume the roasted meat with a gentle and contented expression, savoring the quiet companionship in the wilderness far away from worldly troubles. Picking up a piece of roasted red pepper with a fork, he chews it slowly, finishing a simple yet fulfilling meal just as the dog empties the bamboo plate completely. Walking over to the chicken coop outside the cabin, he scatters the remaining feed on the ground, feeding the gathered chickens and continuing his harmonious routine of nurturing the animals around his secluded and self-sufficient home. I will up. The morning light breaks over the secluded wooden cabin, with a faithful canine companion waiting below. He shoulders a large woven basket and steps out. He ventures deep into the lush tropical wilderness, following a narrow path through dense green foliage. The wind rustles the tall grasses along the way. His journey is not an aimless trick, but a purposeful march toward his thriving tomato field to assess the season's yield. There, amidst vines heavy with red and green fruit, nature's quiet reward awaits him. Preparation demands meticulous care. Harvesting is not a hurried task of plucking, but a delicate ritual. It begins with lining his woven basket with fresh banana leaves to cushion the fragile fruit. He then carefully snips each vibrant red tomato from the vine, ensuring the harvest remains pristine and undamaged. Every slow, gentle motion reveals a quiet devotion to his craft. Focus brings abundance. Sliding among the dense green vines, he carefully selects only the most mature produce. The woven basket quickly fills with bright red bounty, while the vast landscape of distant mountains witnesses his solitary labor. Sweat translates into quiet satisfaction. Each S&P is deliberate, a testament to patience. The ripe tomatoes rest gently in the leaves, protected from bruising. He moves with practiced ease, ignoring the humid air. This is not mere work. It is a ritual of respect for the land. The silence amplifies the sound of shears cutting stems. Every fruit chosen represents hours of prior care. The harvest finally reaches its quiet and satisfying conclusion. With deliberate and focused care, he places the final ripe cluster into his already overflowing pack, taking a brief but meaningful moment to truly appreciate the tangible bounty before carefully adjusting the heavy shoulder straps. He then rises steadily to navigate the narrow dirt path cutting through the vast, sprawling plantation. This heavy burden brings a profound and enduring sense of silent pride. Leaving the quiet fields behind, he shoulders his heavy load. Navigating through dense undergrowth and banana trees, he finally steps out of the wilderness. The serene isolation of the farm gives way to the vibrant energy of a bustling local market. Motorcycles weave through crowds as he walks along the dusty road, surrounded by lively stalls and active trade. It is a stark transition from solitude to society. He establishes a humble trading post on the busy street. Carefully, he lays down a worn sackcloth to protect his fresh produce from the rough ground. Then he pours the crimson tomatoes onto the makeshift mat, creating a vibrant pile of red fruit. With great care and precision, he arranges each individual tomato to entice passing customers. The merchant's simple yet inviting display is now fully ready for trade in this lively market. Trade commences without delay. A mother and her two young daughters pause at the stall, crouching to inspect the vibrant red tomatoes. They seek only the finest specimens from the fresh harvest. The merchant watches with a warm smile, producing a purple bag for their selection. After weighing, paper, currency, changes hands. He returns exact change from his pocket before handing over the knotted bag. Soon another customer arrives. A woman in a colorful striped sweater selects her produce, guided by his helpful suggestions. This honest labor fosters an atmosphere of instant trust and quiet dignity among patrons. The transactions flow with a steady, practiced rhythm. He weighs the produce carefully, exchanging coins under the curious gaze of nearby onlookers. A woman in traditional dress watches quietly as money changes hands. Her presence adding a touch of local color to the scene. Soon after, a man in a white shirt arrives, crouching low to select the finest tomatoes while the vendor holds open a purple bag with care. The young boy beside him clutches a pink sack tightly, waiting patiently for his father to finish. Once the payment is made, the father rises and leads his son away from the bustling stall, left alone for a brief moment. The vendor sits back to count the hard-earned currency, a small satisfied smile lingering on his face. The stall remains a bustling hub of activity throughout the morning. Customers continue to gather in steady numbers, passing their filled bags to be weighed under the watchful eyes of eager buyers waiting nearby. From traditional cash transactions to modern digital payments via smartphone, he serves each one with remarkable patience and care, carefully organizing his earnings as the large pile of fresh tomatoes steadily disappears from view. A young girl in a pink sweater pays while another accepts her bag. It marks a truly successful and productive morning of trade for this diligent vendor at the busy market. The day's work draws to a close. With every tomato sold, the stall owner crouches down, meticulously clearing away scattered stems and debris from the ground. The surrounding market remains vibrant, with pedestrians weaving through the bustling crowds. He carefully folds the empty sacks and packs away his scale, placing them into a large bamboo basket strapped to his back. Before departing this lively scene of mountains and trees, he pauses at a neighboring stand. Dressed in a dark gray shirt and camouflage pants, he purchases freshly grilled skewers from a vendor in a pink top, handing over cash for the meal. A quiet reward for his diligent labor amidst the thriving marketplace. Immersed in the vibrant local atmosphere, he strolls through the crowded market aisles while savoring grilled skewers. Carrying a traditional bamboo basket on his back, he navigates past various stalls with a relaxed demeanor. His attention shifts to a clothing rack, where he carefully inspects the fabric and style of hanging black and white hoodies. He selects a gray Addis t-shirt, holding it against his body to gauge the size and design with serious intent. Finally, he layers the short sleeve shirt over his dark long sleeves, adjusting the fit to assess how it looks, selecting the evening's feast. After paying for his new garment, he carefully tucks it into his woven basket and heads over to a bustling meat stall. There are amidst piles of fresh cuts. He consults with the busy vendors, pointing out a specific piece of pork for his next culinary project. With his final ingredient carefully chosen, the preparation for the evening meal can truly begin. The journey back begins. With the pork weighed and paid for, he carefully packs it into his woven basket. Mounting his motorbike, he sets off along the dusty rural road, passing by small shops and locals. This return is not a simple commute, but a transition back to the quiet embrace of the dense forest. Solitude awaits him once more in the wild. The journey back leads him deep into the verdant embrace of the jungle. Navigating through dense undergrowth and stepping over scattered pipes, he finally arrives at his secluded wooden cabin. A loyal tan dog greets him with joy as he ascends the steps, setting down his bamboo basket to share a tender moment. Soon after, he ventures back into the wild with a knife in hand, seeking a broad banana leaf from a towering tree. This natural platter becomes his workspace. He carefully unpacks large cuts of fresh pork from a yellow bag, laying each piece upon the green leaf with deliberate care. Each slice reveals a lifetime of practiced mastery. With a sharp, heavy cleaver in hand, he begins the meticulous task of dividing a massive cut of pork into manageable portions. His loyal canine companion watches intently from the doorway, a silent observer to this daily ritual. The blade moves with steady, effortless precision, splitting cleanly through both bone and tender meat alike. Every piece falls neatly onto the broad banana leaf, arranged with deliberate care. This is not merely simple preparation. It is the dedicated work of a traditional chef honoring his ancient craft, cleansing with nature's water. After completing the initial cuts, he transfers the meat to a basin and carries it down to a nearby mountain stream. There he washes the fresh pork in the cool flowing water, ensuring absolute cleanliness for the recipe. Nature provides the perfect kitchen. The cold current rinses away impurities, leaving the meat pristine and ready for the next stage of preparation. Each piece is handled with care, respecting the ingredients and the tradition behind this rustic meal. Bringing the artist indoors, he carries the heavy basin of freshly washed pork back toward his solitary wooden cabin. A gentle plume of smoke already rises steadily from the chimney, signaling a quiet warmth within. Stepping carefully onto the weathered porch, he sets down his burden and turns his attention to the rustic stove. In a dry pan placed over the glowing heat, he carefully roasts a fragrant blend of aromatic spices. The sizzling sound fills the still air as the rich inviting aroma begins to unfold around him, marking the deliberate start of his culinary craft. The tool returned an empty string, which means the syllable count is within the target range. I can now output the final script, infusing the raw pork with aromatic flavor. The man dons transparent gloves, extracting roasted spices from the iron pot. He scatters the fragrant blend across fresh meat cuts in a large blue basin. His hands work methodically, turning each piece to ensure thorough seasoning absorption. Nearby, unprocessed pork rests on broad banana leaves. As daylight surrenders to evening shadows, night falls over the wooden cabin porch. He continues the patient preparation in dim light. A faithful dog wanders quietly nearby, maintaining a peaceful presence beside its master. Through these unhurried motions, time allows spices to penetrate deeply, transforming the humble meat. The sleeping hearth is slowly awakened. Thick, heavy logs are carefully placed into the stone pit, putting a fire that grows steadily more powerful and intense. From the quiet cabin, he emerges onto the porch. In his hands, he carries a blue basin covered with fresh green banana leaves. He gently lifts the covering to reveal large cuts of pork, perfectly seasoned and marinating, now ready for the next crucial stage of preparation. The transformation is about to begin. Sitting on the porch, he begins the meticulous task of binding. Using strong bamboo strips, he threads them through each large cut of seasoned pork, with practiced precision. This is not merely decorative work, but a crucial step for safety. The tight knots ensure the heavy meat can hang securely above the hot smoking coals without falling. It is an ancient preservation technique, brought to life through careful, deliberate hands. Each bundle is placed neatly on banana leaves, ready for the smoke. The black spices cling to the surface, promising a deep, rich flavor that will develop slowly over time. He drives a thick bamboo pole deep into the earth, anchoring it firmly beside the stone. A second pole follows, creating a stable vertical support for the structure. He then lifts a long horizontal bamboo rod, carefully sliding each end into the notches of the upright posts to form a sturdy crossbar. With the frame complete, he takes the first bundle of seasoned pork and hangs it securely from the high beam, beginning the careful process of preservation. The smoking process begins. With all the pork hung, he steps back to inspect the arrangement as thick smoke begins to rise and envelop the meat. The rising heat slowly draws out the excess moisture, causing rich oil to drip as the color deepens. A timeless dance of smoke and fire transforms the raw ingredients into preserved sustenance for the coming months. This ancient method ensures survival through the harsh winter ahead. delicious rewards of his labor. With focused precision, he carves the beautifully cured meat on a wooden block, sharing a few savory bites with his eager dog amidst the lively farm animals. The remaining smoked slabs are then carefully moved inside a rustic cabin. He hangs them high above the indoor fire pit for the final stage of curing. It is truly a storehouse filled with rich flavor. He adjusts the bamboo poles to ensure the meat heats evenly. The cured slabs glow red in the firelight. Nearby, a hen leads her chicks while a rooster patrols, depicting a self-sufficient cycle of simple forest living.